last couple nights. The Phillies have won their first home series, so they're going for a sweep. And Brett Myers has been an innings eater this year for the starters as far as innings go. You know, because they haven't pitched that many innings, as you said, Tom. They need more of that from him tonight.
Well, Christian Guzman just off the disabled list with a hamstring injury. Takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. So we're underway from Citizens Bank Park. See Guzman's numbers, hitting .515. When he went on the disabled list, he was leading the National League in hitting. It's that one off the hands. A slow roller towards second base. Scooped up by Rollins. Has to hurry just in time. And there's one away.
Well, he's moving really well. You talk about testing something right out of the chute. He was busting it down that line, trying to beat out the hit. And if he was going to blow that tire again, it was right on this play. Jimmy has to hustle. Watch Guzman come into your picture. Just beats him. Here he is coming out of the box, and he smells a hit. And that means that leg's okay.
And he hurt his leg on the final base hit he had against the Phillies in D.C. Had 5 hits in that game. Nick Johnson the batter, and Johnson had an 11-game hitting streak stopped last night. Good start for Johnson, hitting .338, 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. It's that one off the end of the bat. Going to flip it into left field, a base hit. So the first hit of the night comes off the bat of Nick Johnson. And he's aboard with one away here at the top of the first. First inning has been a problem for Brett Myers, even his last start against the Marlins when he allowed that 3-run home run to Dan Uggla. In fact, the first and second innings, he's allowed 9 runs combined in his first 4 starts of the year. So he's trying to stay out of trouble early. And he'll face Ryan Zimmerman, batting .293 with 4 home runs. Phillies infield set up for 2. And the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
We can always hit home runs here, of course, but the atmospheric conditions are not as conducive to long, high fly ball home runs as they were in the first 2 games. It's a little different.
Yeah, the Phillies won last night because of the long balls that they had. In fact, all the runs they scored came on the long ball. As the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah, there's nothing about the weather tonight that's going to keep the ball going out of the ballpark if you hit it well. But the last couple nights, they were flying.
Well, of the 27 hits Myers has allowed this year, 8 have been home runs. Gets Zimmerman to break his bat, roll 1 to short. Could be 2 to flip to second for 1. Over to first in time for the 6-4-3 double play. And it's a clean first inning for Brett Myers. Just 7 pitches for the right-hander. Chase Utley's going to get a chance to bat in the bottom of the first. Offense has handled the last handful of games, particularly against the Washington Nationals, and his starting lineup tonight is much the same as last night. Jimmy Rollins leads it off at shortstop. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, bats second. Chase Utley, the second baseman, hits third. Ryan Howard is the first baseman, batting cleanup. In right field is Jason Worth. He'll bat fifth. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, hits sixth. Pedro Feliz, 7 hits in his last 10 at-bats, is at third base, batting seventh. Chris Coase, the catcher, hits eighth. And batting ninth, the pitcher Brett Myers, and that starting lineup is brought to you by Budweiser. And they'll face left-hander Scott Olson, making his 5th start in a Nationals uniform.
29 hits, 21 innings pitched. He's pitched pretty well his last few times out, even though he has a record of 0-3. He went up against Johan Santana last time out and pitched pretty well in that ball game. Phillies have seen a lot of this guy over the years. That's his fastball. He doesn't throw real hard. Slider's probably his best pitch. Hated the Phillies as a Marlin. Does he still hate them as a National?
Yeah, he said that often.
Oh, yeah, he did. Well, this guy's a little bit, he's a lefty. He can't help it. You know, he's a little bit of a loose cannon. And, you know, he wears his hat like a lefty. Look at it, way down over his eyes.
Sometimes a little crooked.
A little crooked. You know, that left arm will dangle back there a little more. They just, look, that's a lefty right there. That's perfect.
He's 25 years old. His first pitch to Jimmy Rollins in there for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Jimmy hitting 195 with a home run and 6 RBIs, but he's 4 for 9 in this series, so he's starting to come out of it a little bit. Hits that one the opposite way. Couple of hops to the second baseman Hernandez, and there's one away. Well, speaking of Johan Santana, he started today for the New York Mets, and on our Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Marlins defeated the Mets 4-3. And that bullpen for New York could not hold that lead for Johan Santana, and it seems to be repetitive.
Well, you know, the line of storyline for the Mets this year, and it probably will work out for them for the most part, is that when they get in the 8th and 9th, they have a chance to win the game with a lead, because Putz is very good in the 8th and Rodriguez in the 9th. Well, he didn't get it done today. He walked a couple guys, and they were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Left 14 men on base, including the bases loaded in the 9th, did the Mets, so stay with them.
Well, the Marlins now a game up over the Phillies in the National League East.
I don't think, you know, the Major League Baseball shouldn't get cocky just because that happened today, because those two guys at the end of a game with a lead, the Mets will win a lot of games.
Shane Victorino riding a 9-game hitting streak, and he hits that one in the air deep to left field. Doesn't have enough. It's angling. It's gone. Victorino with his 3rd home run of the season, and just like that, the long ball plays a factor for the Phils, and they lead it 1-0. And John McCara of Philadelphia, we didn't let you know this, but if the Phillies hit a home run tonight, you win $100, so you've just won $100. Thanks to Shane Victorino, introducing the cafe coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos.
Phillies are very familiar with this guy, and he will try to come inside once in a while to right-handed batters. It looked like he was trying to do that there, didn't get the ball inside, and Shane hit a trolley wire home run. That was out in a hurry.
It's a 10-game hitting streak for Victorino. And Shane with his 15th RBI of the year. And let's face it, the RBIs for Shane have come in bunches. He now has 9 since Friday.
Yeah, well, that grand slam.
0-1 to Utley is taken at the knees, so it's 0-2.
See, they put the overshift on for Utley, but they can't play way in the outfield with him because he runs too well. There's Victorino. See where the second baseman is right there because of the fact that he runs well enough that you can't play him in the outfield.
0-2 pitch, waves at a breaking ball, and Utley is down on strikes for the second out here in the bottom of the first. Olsen does have 15 strikeouts this season.
Boy, on the scouting report, put on there that the slider is probably his best pitch, and that's a perfect example of it there. He can be very tough on left-handed batters with that breaking ball. Left-handed hitters hitting 235 off him. Right-handed hitters 342.
And now he faces another lefty in Ryan Howard. Ryan hitting 276 with 4 homers and 15 RBIs.
Ryan got him for a pair one night at Dolphin Stadium. 2 home runs in a game off Olsen.
Well, he has great numbers against Scott Olsen overall. Those 2 home runs and 9 other hits. He's 11 for 24. That's a .458 batting average against Olsen. Lays off a pitch on the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. See what Olsen's record is against the Phillies in his last 5 starts. Here at Citizens Bank Park, it's not as good. He's 1-2 with a 5.73 ERA. It looks like he's got a pretty good breaking ball tonight, and it's 1-2 to Howard.
That's his best pitch, no doubt about it. And he'll throw it a lot, especially to left-handed hitters. It's a good, sharp slider, too. It's late.
That one's hit the opposite way. A foul ball into the Hall of Fame club down the left field line. Ryan just 1 for 7 on this homestand, but the one was a center field grand slam. One, two, waved at it, missed, and Howard is down on strikes, and the Phillies are retired here in the bottom of the first. But they get a run thanks to the home run by Shane Victorino. Phillies lead it 1-0 as we go to the second. Bases at the bottom of the first inning with a home run to extend his hitting streak to 10. So that's why the Phillies lead it 1-0. And Brett Myers will face 4, 5, and 6. Big Adam Dunn leads things off for the Nationals. Dunn takes a heavy swing at the first pitch, and it's 0-1. Saw Dunn's numbers, 328 with 6 homers. He's homered in back-to-back games here at Citizens Bank Park. But Myers has had his number during the course of their meetings. Pulls that one toward the shift. Easy play for Howard. He's going to race Dunn to the bag. And there's one away.
A good job by Brett Myers. And you know, people feel that he's a sinker ball pitcher now, or a ground ball pitcher. Not the maybe the power pitcher he was when he first came up to the major leagues. And to me, it seems like he has his best games when he gets a lot of ground balls and gets guys out fast. You know, and sometimes that's hard for a guy to get through his head that that's what he is and what he needs to be effective, because they like to strike guys out. But you get hitters out quickly, next thing you know, you're in the 7th inning.
Well, he's got 3 ground ball outs already, or 3 ground balls already, to produce the 4 outs in this game.
9 pitches. You know, there's nothing wrong with a ground ball early in the count to get a guy out.
Elijah Dukes pops one foul off to the right net of play, so it's 1-1.
A lot of guys have made really good livings in Major League Baseball by throwing a lot of ground balls. And there you see, right now he's at 42%, to 30 for his fly ball outs, and then 28% strikeouts.
Now that percentage of strikeouts, Wheels, that was probably higher 5 years ago.
Absolutely, and I think he wanted to strike people out. And maybe, excuse me, Tom, maybe he still does, but that's not the way he's going to succeed with a lot of strikeouts. He's going to succeed by mixing in his ground balls, and he'll get his strikeouts with changeups. I mean, with curveballs.
Jamie Moyer knows a thing or two about that, talking to Chan Ho Park. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dukes. Joe Blanton. Joe threw a bullpen session today, and he's trying to get his timing down with his leg kick and the separation of his throwing hand and his glove. That's what they were working on today. Count is full, 3-2 to Dukes.
Well, it's always good. It used to be like you shoot the Braves dugout, a shot like that, and you'd see Maddox sitting there with the pitchers. And that's great to see. There's Willingham on deck. See Jamie Moyer there with it, and they're listening to him.
That one, he reaches out and lines to center. A base hit for Dukes. And it's the second hit of the night for the Nationals.
Talked about his plate coverage last night. He's very impressive. You can fool him, get pitches away from Dukes, and he'll make contact.
Well, Thursday, May 14th is our next Citizens Bank Business Person Special against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Plus, after the game, Modell Sporting Goods seniors stroll the bases. That's following the game. Order your tickets now at Phillies.com. The Dodgers enter play today with a 14-7 record. They're 2.5 games up in the National League West. Here's Josh Willingham. Willingham is off to a slow start, hitting 129 with a home run and 2 RBIs. He's 0 for his last 8, and he just hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats.
This guy used to really hit the Phillies hard when he was with the Marlins.
I think he's in there tonight because he hits Myers hard, and they've got Dukes picked off. He was flinching. Good move by Myers. Howard runs right at him. Let's see if Jimmy Rollins can outrun him. Nope, he's got Chase Utley in his sights, and they're 2 away. Wheels, is that a spot where Manny Acta and the Nationals may have seen something on film and they were trying to capitalize on it?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, Tom, whether they're just trying to make something happen there, whether they're going to play hit and run, and he leaves too early. Let's see. That's a straight steal. Yeah, he was just going to try and steal a bag there, and Brett picked him off. Good job.
So 2 away, and Willingham is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Guy never, or should never, get caught like that if it's something where he's running on a count or a hit and run. If you're on a straight steal, that can happen because you're just trying to get a good jump that way.
0-2 on the inside corner, called strike 3. First strikeout of the night for Brett Myers. The base running blunder by Dukes helps him out this inning. Myers is through 2 with a 1-0 lead. Keep it here on MyPHL 17 for the top-rated 30-minute 10 o'clock news. MyPHL 17 News at 10, powered by NBC 10. Between innings, there's Jamie Moyer and Joe Blanton chatting, although it's Jamie that's doing all the talking, and he's pretty emphatic about some things.
Chan-Ho just nods.
Well, Chan-Ho Park has already learned a new way to grip his changeup from Jamie Moyer, kind of tinkered with it. And Joe Blanton off of rough start on Monday, trying to figure some things out as well. There's Jason Worth, who takes a pitch for a strike to start the bottom of the 2nd inning. Worth has good numbers against Olson for his career. He's had a good start to his April. Against Olson, he is 6 for 13 with a couple home runs. Takes one on the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-2.
First look at this Todd Tishner, the home plate umpire. He's replacing Kerwin Danley on this crew. Danley got hit with that bat. Was injured up in Toronto the other night. He's doing a real good job with balls and strikes.
Worth is down on strikes. There's out number 1. 3 straight strikeouts now for Olson. And there's one away. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Brewers finished off a sweep of the Pirates. And speaking of strikeouts, Giovanni Gallardo, 11 Ks through 8 innings today for Pittsburgh.
They can't beat those Brewers, can they? It's unbelievable.
And they were doing so well, the Pirates were.
It's amazing.
Brewers now with that win are 1 game over 500. Here's Raul Ibanez, and he falls behind 0-1. Gallardo is the first pitcher to homer the game's only run since 2002. 1-0, and it was his home run that gave them the 1-0 victory.
Jim Bunning did that once for the Phillies back in the 60s. Here's Ibanez last night with that swing where he literally got on top of a pitch that was above the letters. It's amazing. We talked about tomahawk, and that's basically what he did there, and it just flew out of here. Yeah, how tough he is on left-handed hitters.
He's rung up on strikes, so that's the second straight strikeout in this inning. 4th straight overall for Olson. And with 2 away, Pedro Feliz will be the batter.
Here's another hard slider to a left-handed hitter. And Ibanez been hanging in there pretty well. He was wide open on that one.
Ibanez has been red hot. So has Pedro Feliz, hitting .333 overall. And Pedro's enjoyed his April here at Citizens Bank Park. He's hitting over .340 here in Philadelphia.
Richie Ashburn didn't like pitchers. He didn't even like pitchers on his own team, basically. And whenever he'd hear pitchers complain, he'd say, well, why don't you pitch a shutout and hit a homer? Well, that's what happened today. Made me think of that with Gallardo.
1-2 the count to Feliz.
There were a few guys that have done that in Major League Baseball. And I remember Bunning doing it in a game in '65. I don't remember who he did it against, but pitch a shutout like that, 1-0, hit a homer.
2-2 the count. See Olson fiddling with the ball. Little separation as he goes into his wind. And it's 3-2.
He kind of taps the glove as he goes to throw. You wonder if he does anything to tip pitches.
Chris Coast waits on deck. Ball 4, and Feliz draws the walk, so the Phillies have a 2-out base runner here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. So Pedro's aboard for Chris Coast. Phillies in their 5 straight victories. The 3 over the Marlins, the 2 so far against Washington. They have outscored the 2 teams 46-18. You know, Charlie said before last weekend that he thought his team was going to hit, and well, they've started to hit pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's been a lot better. And that's without Jimmy Rollins, too.
There were a lot of questions today to Charlie about the fact that the Phillies are 11-8 here in the month of April, and we're almost done with April. And Jimmy was part of the conversation that, you know, can you be happy with that considering that Jimmy has struggled so much? And Charlie said yes. And he said plus the fact that there have been so many stops, starts, emotions during this first month, that he is happy that his team's 3 games over 500.
Well, Phillies played 20. There's Jimmy. Played 28 games last year in April. Of course, 1 was in March also. They were 15-13. They will not play that many games this April.
Coast nubs one foul, and it holds 0-2. Scott Olson's best year was 2006 when he was 12-10 with the Florida Marlins, and they thought he had arrived. He slipped under 500 last year. Swing and a miss, and Coast is down on strikes. I thought maybe he got a piece of it. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Olson. He's K'd 5 through the first 2. Phillies lead it by 1. Waving in the wind out there. Phillies lead at 1-0 as we go to the top of the third. Milt Thompson's been nice enough to join us here. And Milt, I guess it's always nice to get off on a good note in the first inning, and Shane Victorino did that for you guys tonight.
Yeah, it's good to get ahead. He got a good pitch and he didn't miss it, and they lined it out here. It's nice to see.
Hey, Milt, we heard so much about Raul Ibanez before he came over here. Now you've been around him for spring training, the first month of the season. Tell us a little bit what kind of hitter this guy is.
He's just a total professional. He works hard. He's in there every day, hours upon hours. He starts off the tee, the high tee, getting on top of the ball, and then he goes from there to the front toss, and then, he's ready to go.
I shared a story the other day, Milt, about what you were saying when we were leaving Florida about his defense, saying, whoever put the reports together saying this guy wasn't a good defensive outfielder, I want to meet that guy because he's turned into a pretty good defensive outfielder.
I'm telling you, he's doing a great job out there. I don't know where that came from, that he wasn't a good outfielder. I was watching the spring training, and then he took it on to the season. I'm like, I don't know where that came from.
Hey, you talk about hitting on top of the ball. Is that swing that he had last night when he hit that high pitch out? Is that getting on top of the ball a little bit?
That's definitely getting on top of the ball, and that's the first thing he works on. He puts the tee as high as possible. He tries to hit line drives, trying to stay on top of the ball, and he's very good at that.
Pedro Feliz takes care of Jesus Flores, so one out here in the third inning. And this is the pitch that we were talking about last night with Ibanez, that high pitch that he put the other way. And I asked him, Milt, I said, did you wait longer than usual? He said, well, you have to on a pitch like that. And he said, boy, the ball was really carrying too.
Well, he's just a great hitter. Every at bat he takes, it's just a professional bat. He's up there. He went up there with one thing in mind. He said, I'm going to, especially the night before when he came up, he just said, I'm going after it. And I'm going to, first pitch fastball, he tries to get ahead. I'm going to be ready for it.
Well, you were a good outfielder in your day, and Jason Worth just made a heck of a throw to second base to nearly get Anderson Hernandez, who slides in with a one-out double. He got to that ball on the slide, popped up, and fired a one-hopper to Jimmy Rollins, and they nearly got Hernandez, who I think was stunned that the throw was that close. Man, that was a heck of a throw.
Hey, Bill, let's talk about Chase Utley a little bit. There were all the stuff during the offseason. Maybe he wouldn't play till May, maybe not play till June. Was he being rushed back in? How good is this guy to be able to be hitting the way that he is right now?
He's a different animal. He's some kind of special. I'm going to tell you. I saw him about 2 days after the surgery, and he was down here in the clubhouse, and he told me, I'll be ready opening day. And when he says something like that, I believe it. All the hard work he put in to be ready opening day is just amazing.
And he's turning on everything too, Milt. It's not like he's popping the ball out of the ballpark the opposite way, which I know he can do, but he's turning freely with that hip the way it is.
Everybody looked at him last year, and he just grinded all last year with that bad hip, and this year now that hip's put back together, and he's going to have a great year.
Milt, can he? He used to hit a lot of balls the other way, out of the ballpark, into left and left center. Is that something that's going to come, or is he more a pull hitter now?
I think he's becoming more of a pull hitter. The thing about baseball, and I'll go back to a guy like Don Mattingly. I played against him all through my minor league career, and the most home runs he would hit is about 7. And as he got into Yankee Stadium, he learned how to pull the ball, and the rest is history.
And he had a good career with the long ball, not only with the base hits. Milt, last question. We were talking before about the Phillies being 3 over 500, even with Jimmy struggling. I know you think he's coming. Do you see anything better with him the last couple of days?
Oh, definitely. He's starting to hit the ball. He's starting to square it up a little bit. Even the first time up, he hit the ball hard to second base. It's just a matter of time before he breaks loose.
All right, Milt, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, Milt Thompson, our guest, as the Nationals have a runner on second base with 1 out, and the count 3-1 to Scott Olson, the pitcher, who surprisingly was not up there to bunt at all in this situation, at least not at this point. With 1 out, sometimes the pitcher will try to move the runner over to third. And some managers, if a guy can handle the bat, and Olson can, they let him swing away.
Right. If there was nobody out, he probably would have bunted there to get him over to third base. Milt made some really good points about the pulling the ball there. I remember when Ryan Sandberg first came up, he couldn't hit a ball to left to second base when he was with the Phillies. And of course, they traded him at a very young age. He was thin, young. He wasn't near as strong as he got. Then he went over to the Cubs, and all of a sudden he turned into a middle in pull hitter at Wrigley Field, and is in the Hall of Fame now with all the home runs that he hit. And Utley reminds you a little bit of that, of the way he's changed.
That's high, ball 4. Olson draws the walk, and now the Nationals have runners on first and second with one away here in the top of the third. Well, the Florida Marlins, who took the last 2 from the Mets to reestablish themselves in the National League East, they'll be in town beginning Monday, May 25th. It's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. You can celebrate Memorial Day. It's the official start of summer. They're also here Tuesday the 26th at 7:05. Now, Wednesday the 27th is a sold-out ball game. All fans will receive that hat you just saw, the Teva Phillies Shamrock cap. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com. Here's Christian Guzman with 2 runners on. And he tops one foul, and it's 0-1. Guzman bounced to short his first time up. And Wheels, you were mentioning Ryan Sandberg, and you know, Chase Utley has a long path ahead of him in his career, but he's laying a pretty good path to Cooperstown right now.
Yeah, he could, you know, everything works out. He could be the all-time home run hitting second baseman the way that he's going right now. Long way to go. You know, Jeff Kent has that number right now and is retired, so you know what to shoot for. Of course, he never thinks of things like that. There's nothing individual about Chase Utley. It's always the team.
Guzman takes one high, so it evens the count 1-1. Christian Guzman, a switch hitter against right-handers. He's hitting .462. And he has fewer at bats than everybody else because of that hamstring injury. Pulls that one toward first, scooped up by Howard to second for 1. Rollins won't have a play at first, but there are 2 away.
That throw.
That's a pretty good throw right there by Ryan Howard.
That was a confident throw. That was a guy who believes he can make that play now. Because before there would all kinds of hesitations. He'd pull the string. Look at this. One motion. Boom. Throw. Lead Jimmy Rollins. You know, and if Guzman doesn't run as well as he does, that's a 3-6-3 or 3-6-1 double play. Well, that's good to see.
Well, we talked about the evolution of Ryan defensively, and you know, the Phillies as a team have committed only 3 errors, and he doesn't have any.
Well, last year he can't make that play. You know, he'd be hesitating. Could have gone anywhere. And he could tell right away that his mind was set. I'm going to second base. I can make this play.
Well, now with 2 away, here's Nick Johnson, who takes a breaking ball, goes off the glove of Chris Coase. The runner does an advance from third, but up to second goes Guzman. That's going to wind up being a pass ball to Chris Coase. It'll be his second of the year. Yeah, he has 2 pass balls. The Phillies as a team have 3 errors. He just dropped it.
Yep, just didn't make the play. Right there, right off the glove.
So now instead of 1 in scoring position, the Nationals have 2 in scoring position.
Well, that was a good thing about the play Ryan just made, was to keep a runner out of scoring position. Keep the force in order.
Well, that's now 168 chances this year for Howard without an error. 2-0 the count to Nick Johnson. Now the Toyota Major League scoreboard. Rockies defeated the Padres 7-5. Adrian Gonzalez hit 2 home runs. So now he has the National League lead in homers with 9. It's his 7th career multi-home run game. 3-0. Brett threw very few pitches in the first couple of innings. Now he's at 33, and he's got a tough hitter waiting on deck.
Yeah, I think you better be careful with Nick Johnson here and not throw him a cookie. Because you have a right-handed hitter on deck, even though Zimmerman's a heck of a player.
Inside for a ball, and Johnson walks. It's the second walk of the inning issued by Myers, and the bases are now loaded. Know what the bases loaded? We'll welcome in the Fanatic, and it's time for the Dodge Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com, go to the fan forums section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, who are the 4 Phillies pitchers that have had 40 or more saves in a season? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Well, the Nationals have had a base runner in each inning so far. Now they have the bases loaded with 2 outs. And Ryan Zimmerman takes a breaking ball off the outside corner. Zimmerman shattered his bat his last time up And he bounced it to a 6-4-3 double play. Again, it's outside and low. 2-0. Well, the success that Brett had in the first 2 innings has kind of left him in this inning.
Well, he was using his fastball real well in the first 2 innings and kind of gotten away from it a little bit. Did through 2 breaking balls out of the strike zone. Now he's in one of those half the counts, as Charlie calls them.
Against a hitter hitting over 300, the bases loaded. Now it's 3-0, a fastball low. And Myers will take a little stroll around the mound. Hernandez is on third base. Over at second is Guzman. And Nick Johnson, the slowest of the 3, is over at first. And Adam Dunn is in the on-deck circle. Phillies lead it 1-0 thanks to a home run by Victorino. That's a strike on the inside corner. And it's 3-1. Zimmerman was taken all the way on that pitch.
Yeah, I bet he wishes he weren't, because that was right down the middle, and Brett Myers just was taking a chance there. I got to get one over, and he's not swinging.
Down low, ball 4, and the game is tied at 1. That is the 3rd walk of the inning by Myers. And here comes Rich Doobie. They're going to try to find an arm slot here for Brett. So 1 hit in the inning, 3 walks, and the bases remain loaded. Now you see the pitch count for Brett. Only 7 pitches in the first inning, 18 through the first 2. But now 21 pitches here in the 3rd. And the home plate umpire Todd Tishner's out to the mound to try to break up this conversation. And Myers has to deal with Adam Dunn, who grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, and he'll take pitches with the best of them, or he'll set you up, because you're so used to Adam Dunn taking pitches early in the count. He'll sometimes set a guy up, and he'll be thinking, I'm looking for something early to drive.
Now the bases are loaded. The infield plays back. They play Dunn to pull. And the first one is low. It's 1-0.
Breaking ball.
Dunn has hit with the bases loaded a time or 2. He's got 9 grand slams. And that's evens up the count. 1-1.
That's a good fastball right on the outside corner. Doesn't look like it the way Coast caught it. It's inside the shin guard. Yeah, that's probably a strike.
Well, Tishner's given the pitchers the outside part of the plate. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Coast. And Brett has fallen behind now, 2-1. $15 balls, 9 strikes for Myers in this inning. And that one's hit in the air to left center field. It's pretty well hit, but Ibanez has room. Looking up, makes the grab, and the inning is over. So Myers manages his way through this inning. He faces 7, allows 1, and he strands the bases loaded. Middle of the 3rd, it's a 1-1 game. Chevy dealers by W.B. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason for amazingly low office product prices. By Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now, Dodge. Last of the third, 1-1 game as Brett Myers leads it off. And Myers shoots the first pitch down the right field line. Adam Dunn had him played beautifully. And there's one away. Hey, create your own Phillies collectible using your favorite photos at the photo store on Phillies.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own Phillies memory. Go to Phillies.com today. So many things that you can do with Phillies.com. Stats, stories, but also they take photos throughout the course of the night here at the ballpark, and you can go to Phillies.com and get those photos placed on some of your favorite items. It's a great gift for anybody looking for something for a birthday. Jimmy Rollins with one out takes a pitch at the knees for a strike. Those are some of the folks that we're talking about. You can see them wearing the green shirts or the green jackets. They'll take your picture, give you a card, and you can check it later on. Oh, and 2 the count to Jimmy Rollins. Now, if you go to the website, you get that gentleman's card, you go to the website, and there are photos of different things around the ballpark. Not only of yourself, but also of different sites around the park itself. So it's a good thing. Wheels, you've got a birthday coming up. Maybe somebody can get you something.
I don't have a birthday coming up. What are you talking about? Later in the summer. Yeah. Try to forget about them at this point.
Come on, we'll sing it. Jimmy Rollins grounded out to second, his first time up, and he chops this one foul to keep the count at 1-2.
See him lunging, and that's not Jimmy Rollins. That was a changeup. He got fooled a little bit, and Jimmy, Milt said, is close, and he has such a short swing that you think it's going to come pretty soon, but his timing is just a little bit off.
It looks like it's back left-handed more than it's right-handed.
Well, yeah, and he hits the left-handed so much more. Sometimes guys are switch hitters and their natural right-handed hitters feel really strong when they turn around bat right-handed. Jimmy's so good from both sides, it doesn't matter that much with him.
Now Jimmy's 1 for 16 against lefties. Lines that one down the left field line, and it's a foul ball. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Diamondbacks shut out the Cubs 10-0. Doug Davis struck out 7 over 7. And with that win, Arizona is now 3 games under 500 at 9-12. I think a lot of people are surprised that they're sitting where they are.
And the Cubs are right at 500, 10-10.
Well, Dan Herron from Arizona, he pitched a heck of a game the other night. I mean, he was firing. 10 strikeouts.
He's good. Dan Herron's a #1 pitcher.
Jimmy's staying alive, fouling one pitch after another off.
Yeah, good job by Jimmy to make Olson work. Obviously, it's not hot here tonight. He's not going to wear down because of that. But this time of the season, pitch counts still are involved. So when we can make him pitch early is good.
Well, this is the 10th pitch of the at bat, and Jimmy is down on strikes.
It looked like a strike.
Well, it's the 6th strikeout of the night for Olson.
I think Olson threw him a perfect fastball. It's a strike. He knew it.
He fouled off so many pitches that he'd love to have that one back. So he's retired. Victorino homered his last time up, stands in. I mentioned the RBIs for Victorino. With that home run, he now has 10 since Friday. It's the postseason all over again. Lays off a pitch low, and it count is even 1-1.
Olson's good tonight. He can get. Should check Jimmy. He's still frustrated. Olson going to have some really bad body language out there when things aren't going right for him. But he's in a good rhythm right now, and he's around the zone.
Good change up there, and Victorino out in front, and it's 1-2.
3 pitches: fastball, breaking ball, and changeup. And this is as good as we've seen him look in a while.
Well, he's faced 11 batters. He's thrown a first pitch strike to 9 of them. And Victorino pops it up first base side, foul territory. Johnson on the run. He's not going to get there. And Shane is alive. Nick Johnson a couple of years ago on a pop up behind the first base bag broke his leg and really wasn't the same until this spring training.
Who did he collide with? Ryan Church he collided with?
It was Ryan Church.
Right.
And it was, you know, down the right field line.
Yeah, in New York
in September. That one off the end of the bat. A one hopper to Guzman. Guzman flips it to first, and the Phillies are down in order here in the third. So 4 in a row retired by Scott Olson, and it's a 1-1 game. The 5th annual women's softball celebration is going on throughout the year here at Citizens Bank Park. Players, coaches, and families receive discounted tickets. For information, you can call 215-463-1000, or you can email FanDev, that's DEV, at Phillies.com. Get a free water bottle to all softball players in attendance. Again, you can call 215-463-1000. Brett Myers fires a strike to Elijah Dukes to begin the top of the 4th inning. Dukes singled up the middle and then was picked off by Myers his last time up. And he breaks his bat, loops one towards center. Victorino's there. And there's one away.
Yeah, you can catch those balls simply because he plays so shallow. That ball broken bat, usually that would fall in, but Victorino plays a short kind of center field, meaning that he doesn't play deep.
Well, he just saw the sky there, Sarge. I mean, you were an outfielder for your entire career. I mean, there were probably difficult nights. I mean, is this the point in the night where it's difficult to see the ball?
If you couldn't see any sky, yes, but you can see sky there, so that won't be that difficult.
Blue sky, you mean?
Blue sky as well, yes. And there's some gray clouds up there, a little dark, but you can see the opening, so that makes it a lot lighter when the balls are up in the air.
One away. Josh Willingham, the batter. He struck out his first time up. And Willingham takes a breaking ball off the outside corner. It's 1-1. Josh Willingham has been plagued by a sore calf. He was hit with a ball in the dugout about a week or so ago. And it's 2-1 to Willingham.
Injuries have slowed him down just a little bit. This guy was a pretty good hitter.
Former catcher rolls one to short. Jimmy Rollins has got plenty of time, and they're 2 away. Very smooth by Jimmy Rollins. And Myers has settled his pitch count down thanks to that ground ball to J-Roll. You know, he was above 20 pitches in the 3rd inning alone, but has thrown just a few pitches here to get the first 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
A lot of times he'll get to where he just maybe wants to make too good of a pitch
Delivers a strike to Jesus Flores, who popped to third his only time up.
And Greg Maddox said that it makes it easier. You can see the total pitches when you try not to throw a great pitch. Just throw a good pitch. That hitter can get himself out.
Well, Brett threw 18 pitches in the first 2 innings, and he had some good stuff. I mean, he had 4 outs on ground balls. He picked a guy off, and he got 1 strikeout. And he had a little bit of a hiccup in the third. That one just misses the plate, so it's 2-1.
Now, those all stem around those walks. Those walks have a tendency to end up scoring. Brett walked 3 in that inning.
And allowed just the 1 hit. 2-1, popped foul. That's going to find the upper deck behind home plate. And it's even now, or holds even with 2-2. Hey, best wishes to Dr. Joe Hennessy of Huntington Valley, longtime Phillies fan, recuperating at home. Get well, Joe. Charlie O'Gara, our cameraman upstairs here in the booth, wanted to push along those best wishes to the good doctor. And it's from Sarge and myself as well.
Yeah, well, you better throw a muffin in there.
All right, we'll throw wheels in there too.
Okay.
3 balls, 2 strikes to count to Flores with 2 away. And he hits that one in the air toward left field. Ibanez is back to the warning track. Does he have room at the wall? He does. Makes the catch, and the inning is over. Well, Brett Myers works a 1-2-3 4th inning. Nice comeback from the third. Due up in the bottom of the 4th. It's Utley, Ryan Howard, and Jason Worth for the Phils. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. By McDonald's, introducing McDonald's McCafe coffees. Try hot or cold iced mochas, lattes, and cappuccinos. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By Chrysler, Employee Pricing Plus is now in its final month at your Chrysler dealer. Everyone gets our employee price, plus generous cash allowances. And by AT&T, your world delivered. Last of the 4th inning, Nationals and Phillies tied at 1. It'll be Chase Utley leading things off. And, you know, Chase is among a long list of second basemen right now in baseball that are tearing the cover off the ball in the month of April. Sarge played with Tito Fuentes with the San Francisco Giants. And I remember Tito from his trading card. He always had the headbands and the wristbands and stuff like that. Tito had nothing on these guys offensively.
Let me tell you, I mean, you're right about that. Tito was more flashy. These guys are putting up offensive numbers that are like outfielders, if you will. And Chase kind of really leading the way, but you have some great second basemen in the National League and really throughout the league. Pedroia with Boston was the MVP in the American League last year.
Well, Chase has 7 home runs this year. You look at what Ian Kinsler is doing with the Texas Rangers. He has 7 home runs. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Now, Kinsler, he hits the ball like it's on a tee just about every time.
0-1 pitch to Utley is waved out and missed, so it's 0-2.
Olsen going to more slow stuff on Utley and did the same thing to Ibanez, throwing slow breaking balls. Each of those hitters will make adjustments. Get that breaking ball up a little bit. He's had some pretty good break on it. He's trying to get a different group, changes his mind on a particular pitch. Just could be the location.
1-2 is rolled toward first. Nick Johnson's got it. And that is now 5 in a row retired by Olsen. Well, Olsen has struck out 6 tonight, Sarge, and it's because he's got a good breaking ball and a good changeup.
Does have a good breaking ball. That's a slider. He throws it really slow, right around 78, 79. That's a cutter or his fastball. And he's been down in the zone, but he's been getting pitches called in the zone down. Therefore, he's going to stay there. Hitters got to make the adjustment from either moving up and making him get the ball up a little. It'll be easier to hit the ball.
Well, the only hit was the home run by Victorino in the first, and it's a 1-1 game. Here's Ryan Howard, and Howard takes a fastball away. It's 1-0. Ryan struck out his first time up.
Got him on a slow slider.
And the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Angels have edged the Orioles 3-2. And the LA Angels of Anaheim find themselves 3 games back in the American League West. How's Junior doing out there?
He's playing, getting some playing time. Saw him play today. Saw him also hit a ball off the wall and looked like he went into his home run trot. I told him that you got to hit a few hard to make sure that they get out. I mean, you just can't think they're out and they hit the wall. You got to know the sound of that bat when that ball comes off of it. Other than that, you got to act like it's an inside the park home run, get around those bases.
Well, he was 1 for 4 this afternoon, as Howard takes another one in the dirt, and it's 3-2. Now, Sarge says that to Junior, and this from the same guy who threw his helmet off after every hit, maybe sputtered a few times.
Never on a home run.
Okay. Howard stays alive as he checks his swing into a foul ball, and the count remains full, 3-2.
Olsen so far doing a pretty good job in mixing up pitches. You can tell that hitters are off balance. And they have their good balance. Easier to hit the ball.
3-2, shot the opposite way. Nice diving play by Zimmerman. Off balance throw, not in time. And the big man hustles up the first base line for an infield single. That's a nice job of adjusting on a pitch that may have fooled him.
Boy, to hit the ball hard, that's all you want to do. And, yeah, he'll take that. Zimmerman, a third baseman, playing shortstop that particular time as he catches the ball. Let's take a look at this. You're right, made a good adjustment. That ball down. Zimmerman getting up and trying to throw it as the big man calls himself safe. There goes Olsen. Hey, good try.
Well, and that's something that we didn't see from Olsen when he was with the Florida Marlins. You know, he would be more distant at times with some of his infield mates, including his third baseman at the time, Miguel Cabrera, and he would get on him and show some emotion if Cabrera wouldn't make a play or two. Yeah,
a younger pitcher coming in the league and maybe used to winning, but again, you don't want to show anybody up. As Howard tries to get down as he gets there on a either wild pitch or pass ball, but he read the ball the way that you should. If you're leaning toward second base when that ball goes into the dirt, you don't have to really think about it. Just watch him. Well, he jumped up. He didn't leave right away. Then he's starting to dig. Let's see where the throw is. Now, if the throw is down, I'm sorry, it would have probably been out. But nevertheless, good heads-up play by Howard getting in to second base.
Well, he's in scoring position. The count 1-1 to Jason Worth. And a tie game here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And it's 2-1 to Worth. Jason struck out his first time up. But as we mentioned before, he has good numbers against Olsen. And he's got good numbers against lefties this year. In just 10 at bats, he's 4 for 10. But no home runs yet against lefties. It's that one, a line toward left, a base hit. Howard is being held at third. And Jason Worth is aboard. Throw got away from Zimmerman. Jason thought about going to second, but he holds up at first. So the Phillies with runners on first and third with one away here in the fourth inning.
Well, Ryan Howard read the ball well. That ball hit. Guzman trying to get up to get the ball. Got to make sure that it's in, but he took off right away. Sam is still doing a great job over there at third base. Usually when you first come here as a third base coach, you get a few runners thrown out at the plate. Now watch Howard. He's off at the crack of the bat. Well, he takes a look. He's rounding. He knows he's not going to score. Usually they hold runners up when it's hit to the left field simply because it's so short out and that left fielder right up on you.
And you got Raul Ibanez at the plate. Although he's facing a lefty, he has been red hot. 5 for 9 in the series. A toss over to first. Worth doesn't have a big lead.
When you're driving in 100 runs, these are the situations that you usually will get that runner in. You see what he's done. 3 for 5, not bad.
With runners on third and less than 2 outs. And that's the situation here as he works ahead 1-0. Ibanez entered the game today 8th in the league in hitting with a .355 batting average.
Yeah, and that's real good. And coming from the other league and being in the American League for the last several years.
2-0 the count.
Usually it takes hitters a little while to learn some of the different pitches that the National League pitchers throw. But he has made a great adjustment in hitting, and he's a good hitter.
Takes a strike at the knees on a fastball. It's 2-1. Last year at this time, Ibanez had 5 home runs and 19 RBIs. So he's in the same neighborhood that he was in last year. 7 home runs and 17 RBIs this year. But the batting average is way better. And now it's 3-1, and he's in a good count to keep that batting average rising.
I end up taking a fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. He was sitting on a slider. We'll see how Olsen feels about that slider, because this would be a situation you would throw it to a fastball hitter.
Slider down and away, ball 4. So Ibanez draws the walk, and the Phillies have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Randy St. Clair is going to waste no time to come out and talk to his left-hander.
Boy, what a great at bat there. That pitch a little bit harder, almost like his fastball, if you will, and breaking out of the zone. If that hitter is too anxious, you're going to swing at that pitch. And I've done it plenty of times where you want to try and get the bat hit started on that fastball. It's good discipline, however, by Ibanez. You can see Jimmy Rollins doing some coaching there as in to the left-hander's move as Chase Utley is looking.
Jimmy stole his first base of the season last night. These guys are used to Olsen, so they have a good read on him if they get on base. Well, after the conversation on the mound, the bases are loaded for Pedro Feliz. Feliz walked his only time up. He homered in last night's ball game.
They've been throwing that fastball on the inside part of the plate with men on base with him.
They throw the fastball on the outside part of the plate there, and it's 0-1. Pedro has been clutch with the bases loaded. 5 grand slams, a .325 batting average. Shoots that one in the air to right field. Might be deep enough to score Howard. Dunn coming on, makes the grab, has a running start, and that's going to hold Howard at third. And the bases remain loaded with 2 away. The way Dunn reacted to that ball, you know, it looked like he was going to catch it much deeper than where he came in and grabbed it.
He wasn't playing all that deep because he did get behind it. Not the greatest of arms. You can see him coming in. Now he kind of takes off. It's not a great setup, and you can see the throw is off. You know, after the fact, you can see, well, maybe he had a chance, but Ryan not feeling comfortable enough to be able to score on the shallow fly ball.
So the bases remain loaded now for Chris Coast, the number 8 batter. He struck out his first time up. Chris is trying to break a 3 for 20 slide. Be a good time to do it here.
Yeah, just try and stay on the ball, try and drive it up the middle.
He takes his pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, you can again, there's just no secret when guys are in a slump. They just look like they're not comfortable at the plate. Just the opposite. Once you start hitting, you feel confident that you can hit any strike and just about take any ball.
That one's in the dirt. Scoots away from Flores, but not far enough to allow Howard to score. So he remains on third. That slider that Olson has, I figure that Flores has got to be a little bit more in tune behind the plate. Good separation between the strikes and the balls for Olson. But he's at 70 pitches here in the 4th inning. That one's looped in the air foul over the first base dugout. It's 1-2.
Coach wants the ball up. Not quite that high, however.
Ruben Amaro Jr. said today, as Flores goes out to the mound, that Carlos Ruiz will go out tomorrow for another rehab assignment with Lehigh Valley. Took some batting practice today. He can come off the disabled list at any time, and Chooch has taken in this ball game, but tomorrow will be a member of the Iron Pigs, and they're hoping they get him back by the weekend.
Wow. Yeah, it was unfortunate. He was off to a pretty good start.
1-2 pitch into the air, deep down the left field line. Fair foul. It is a foul ball. It just hooked to the left at the last minute. And that's how close Chris Coast came to hitting a grand slam. And this game getting blown open for the Phillies.
Boy, just hooking foul. Looked to be a breaking pitch. Just out in front, just a little bit. Thought he had enough to keep it straight. As you can see the ball as it starts to hook. Actually, it stayed foul. Had the distance, however.
So it remains 1-2 as Coast digs in again with the bases loaded. Swing and a ground ball toward third. Knocked down by Zimmerman. Off balance throw to first. In time to get Coast. And the inning is over. So close to getting an infield base hit and giving the Phillies the lead. But the Phillies strand the bases loaded. And Ryan Zimmerman makes a fine play to finish up this 4th inning. Friday night. Be here when your favorite WWE superstars battle it out in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Friday night SmackDown right here on My PHL 17. Top of the fifth inning, Anderson Hernandez leads things off, a 1-1 game. Each pitcher has worked his way into a bases-loaded jam. Myers gave up a run. Scott Olsen did not. But Myers delivers a good hook there to start Hernandez off with a strike, and the count is 0-1.
Well, he had some improvement. Coach just missing from a grand slam and then hit the ball pretty good. That Zimmerman made a great play on him just to nip him at first base.
1-1 the count to Hernandez. Hey, Sarge, want to wish a happy 92nd birthday to Marge Copeland from her daughter Kathy Gallagher, grandson Danny. They work in the executive dining room here at Citizens Bank Park from Springfield, Pennsylvania. 92 years young. Anderson Hernandez will be followed by Scott Olsen in the top of the order for the Nationals here in the top of the fifth inning. Myers fades one outside, so it's 2-2. The last two nights, the Phillies starting pitchers have gone 4 1/3. Joe Blanton went 4 1/3 on Monday. There's Joe. Cole Hamels went 4 1/3 on Tuesday. Chad Durbin was able to pick things up last night when Cole left with that sprained ankle. The report on Cole is that they're going to wait till Friday, and they feel like he's okay. And Cole's taken in tonight's ball game, and Friday is when he's scheduled to make his next bullpen with Rich Doobie. And if all goes well, then he can start Monday when the Phillies go to St. Louis to take on the Cardinals.
Yeah, one of the reasons they don't want to take any chances, obviously, because he's so young and also talented for sure. But by having one injury, say for instance with your leg, it could also have arm problems if you maybe compensating on the leg some. So they want to make sure he's all together well.
Hernandez goes fishing on a high pitch from Brett Myers, but he gets him to take the swing, and there's one away. And this is what happened last night with Cole Hamels. John Ladden laid down a bunt, and as Hamels went to field it, he turned his left ankle, and he was in pain. Look at his face right away. He threw one warm-up toss to see if he was okay. Here's the warm-up toss, and he just couldn't push off.
Nope.
And they didn't want to take any chances.
Nope.
He could have threw a better toss to Charlie Manuel, though.
Yeah, he was a little upset. We'll give him that, but he could have tossed it up just a little bit. You see Charlie kind of bending down for that ball.
Scott Olsen ahead, 2 balls and no strikes here.
Yeah, I'm just sure he's probably thinking, what else can happen? Got hit off his arm with a line drive, a Prince fielder, and then next start, sprains his ankle.
Well, the other news is that Brad Lidge felt better yesterday. And again, the Phillies are hoping that maybe by Friday they can make a decision on him and whether he can still close or if they have to put him on the DL. 2-1, chopped on the ground to second. Utley takes it on a couple of hops, and they're 2 away. So Myers has 2 quick outs here in the top of the fifth, and now he'll face the top of the order. Guzman is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also reached on a fielder's choice. He was stranded on third, back in the third. Myers delivers a fastball a little outside, so it's 1-0 to Guzman.
Now here's another player that's had a lot of injuries over the last 3 or 4 years.
And he's like a lot of other leadoff hitters in this league. He doesn't take a whole lot of pitches. I mean, he's pretty aggressive.
Pretty aggressive, and every time we seem to see him, he's getting hits, ended up hurting himself in Washington on his 5th hit of the game.
Curveball a little high for Myers, so it's 2-1. Line drive into right field, a base hit for Guzman. So that's his first hit of the night, and for the Nationals, it's their 4th. And it's a 2-out base runner here at the top of the 5th.
He really knows the strike zone. It's one of the reasons he does hit so well. Has a lot of confidence about himself.
And Nick Johnson, the batter, he walked his last time up. Well, we mentioned that Guzman doesn't take a whole lot of pitches, but this team takes a whole lot of pitches. Johnson's one of those guys. And he takes a fastball there. Adam Dunn, the cleanup hitter, he takes a lot of pitches. He averages over 4 per at bat. Josh Willingham, who's starting in left field tonight, takes a whole lot of pitches. And, you know, they've run Myers' pitch count up over 70 here in the 5th inning.
And that's an advantage. I mean, when you can see more pitches and see velocity and the break of the ball, it becomes easier. Now that third time up, now that you've seen so many pitches, you're just about really geared into that guy. No, it's not any of the pitches he can fool you on. He might still get you out, but he's not going to be able to fool you.
Good curveball there by Myers, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good curveball right here. Fastball count. That's what you have to do. No, they're getting pitches maybe just off the plate, but that's what you want. Let the hitter make the adjustment. Yeah, if it's been close, Todd's been calling them behind home plate.
Chopper towards shortstop. Waiting for it is Rollins, who'll go the long way to first, and the inning is over. So Brett Myers is through 5 innings. He seems to have settled down. We head to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Myers and then the top of the order for the Phils. .11 runs per ball game. Well, now we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. They've managed just 1 run against Scott Olson. And for the second time tonight, Brett Myers will lead things off for the Phils. Myers flied out to right, his only time up. And he takes a fastball right at the belt for a strike. It's 0-1. Talk about guys that take a lot of pitches. Brett generally takes pitches when he's up at the plate.
He's been able to foul off tough pitches at times.
Doesn't take one there. Chopper to second. Hernandez waits for it. And there's quickly 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Well, the Phillies offense, I don't think there was any question coming into the season that they would score runs. And they've gone through a 3-game stretch here. They've won 5 in a row, but over the last 3 games, they've hit .346. They've scored 33 runs. And because of that, they've moved back to the top of a number of different categories that they were leading last year. They're tied for first in home runs with 29. They're third in the league in runs with 119. 71 extra base hits. I mean, those are all good numbers, and that's what you would expect from this club.
Well, they're an offensive club. Definitely, you would expect that. That's one of the reasons they didn't get off to such a great start, because that offense was sputtering a little bit. they continue to play good defense.
Jimmy Rollins has a base hit in his third at bat tonight. That's his 5th hit in this series. And he was right on that pitch from Scott Olsen. Well, we talk about Brett Myers taking pitches, and never was that more evident than against CC Sabathia. He may not have taken a whole lot of pitches, but he fouled off a whole lot and then worked out a walk. And boy, this is one of the turning points,
no doubt,
not only in this game but in the series, because it really set out the grand slam by Shane Victorino.
Oh boy, you're talking about a battle. He battled and battled and battled off in CC. I mean, it was just unbelievable. A lot of emotion.
There goes Rollins. He may be picked. Johnson's throw to second, right in the base path, and Jimmy is caught stealing. It's only his 2nd attempt of the year, and he was just going on the first move from Scott Olsen.
Well, you're right. He did go on first move. He's trying to avoid that tag. Hit first slide. You know, and Nick there, Johnson, a pretty good fielder. You see how he ends up throwing the ball and getting it low right in there so he could just put the tag down.
So Victorino batting with nobody on. He's way out in front of a pitch, and this is going to wind up being the final out of the inning. So the Phillies go down quietly here in the 5th inning after Jimmy Rollins had a 1-out single. He was caught stealing. 1-1 as we go to the 6th. Put together a very strong first month of the season while earning the respect from the locals. The Phillies left fielder has patrolled his position admirably, and his bat has been delivering in every clutch situation. Ibanez has fared well at his initiation, and he has done it in grand style. This early success story is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, the Phillies fans always so creative. You see all the signs around the ballpark cheering Raul Ibanez. And Ibanez, before the ball game today, he honored some of the kids from the Covenant House and Project Home as part of his Ibanez Team Resurgence program that he and his wife have instituted here in the city of Philadelphia. Ryan Zimmerman leads things off for the Nationals. A program that Raul and his wife brought together brings youngsters from the Covenant House and Project Home to the game to meet him during batting practice and also take in the ball game. He did a lot of community work when he was with the Mariners. And he said it was important for him to do the same when he came here to Philadelphia.
It really is important. The Phillies have a lot of players that give back to the community during the season, by the way.
1-1 to Zimmerman down low, so it's 2-1.
A lot of bowling tournaments they'll have to raise money. Jamie Moyer's involved with his foundation. J-Ro has a bowling tournament. I understand now Ryan Howard and Victorino, they have a bowling tournament that they'll be doing.
2-1 line towards center field, a base hit for Zimmerman. That's an 18-game hitting streak, and it's rolling to the warning track. And he's going to have 2 to begin the top of the 6th inning. Well, Speaking of hitting streaks, it's time now for our Firestone leaders. And the 18-game hitting streak for Ryan Zimmerman is the longest one in the National League and Major League Baseball this year. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Yadier Molina at 12, Carlos Beltran at 12, Adrian Gonzalez. He had 2 home runs today, so his hitting streak's at 11. And that means Adam Dunn will bat with a runner in scoring position here in the top of the 6th inning. It's only the 5th hit allowed by Myers in this game. Zimmerman with that 18-game hitting streak in the young tenure of the Nationals. It's the longest in their franchise history.
Pretty nice hitting streak, 18 games. It's consistency. Unless you got an 18-game hitting streak and you're like 1 for 4 and 1 for 5 every day.
I remember when Jimmy Rollins had that real long hitting streak back a few years ago. The early part of that streak, you know, he had a lot of 1-hit games. And then all of a sudden he started to heat up, and there would be 3-hit games and 4-hit games. You know, and then there was no looking back after that.
Even though he's not, when he's not hitting, he ends up playing good defense, and that's what you want your players to do when you're on defense. You think about defense. Offense, you think about offense.
Well, that 38-game hitting streak for Jimmy, which took place in 05 and 06, was a pretty impressive run.
Ryan Howard at first base.
Playing some good defense. And Dunn is down on strikes for the first out here in the top of the 6th inning.
What a great pitch. That's huge right there. Not letting Dunn be able to pull the ball to get Zimmerman over. You can see him swinging over that pitch, but if he makes contact on the right side, Zimmerman's going to get over the third base. Very nice curveball. Good tight spin on it. Dunn not too happy about it.
He's back in the dugout. Runner on second for Elijah Dukes. And Dukes tonight is 1 for 2. Lined out to Victorino his last time up. Single to center his first time up. Myers works it inside. A roller right up the middle, a base hit. Zimmerman's around third, heading for home. He's going to score. It's an RBI single for Dukes, and the Nationals lead it 2-1. 13th RBI of the season for Dukes. And that ball was hit so slow, but it was right through the middle.
Good things happen when you stay up the middle with balls. That ball, not a bad pitch, however, though, by Brett. But to be a fastball on the inside part of the plate, he got those hands through pretty quick. You're right, he didn't hit it hard, but hard enough to get through that infield, but not hard enough to reach Victorino to have a play at the plate.
So now a runner on first for Josh Willingham. Myers wants to limit it here with 1 out. He picked Dukes off earlier in the game. He's trying to pick him off again. Charlie Manuel will signal to Chris Coast about the tosses over to first. Last year that was Jimmy Williams' responsibility. Another toss over.
Yeah, Jimmy had all kind of different moves. Fake from first to third, and inside move, meaning that the pitcher would try and get that runner at second base as he comes off the mound. And one of those signs is letting him know whether or not to throw over or not.
Pitch is outside, so it's 1-0 to Willingham.
I'll get the same sign and fits a pitch out. And Charlie will give that. Sometimes 3 touches, 1 touch, depending whether or not it's your nose, ear, face.
Willingham goes around on that one, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. They appeal to the first base umpire. I thought the home plate umpire, Todd Tishner, made that call, but he needed a little help from Doug Eddings. So it's even 1-1. Watch this swing.
Just his reaction, he knows kind of that he swung at that pitch, and you can see him throwing that bat up in the air, trying to tell himself, I got to stay back.
Dukes doesn't go. Pitch is on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2. little bigger lead this time for Dukes. And Willingham stays alive. He got a little piece of that one. Brett now zeroing in on 90 pitches for the night. But his last outing, he buckled down after allowing the 3 runs in the first inning to Dan Uggla. And then the Phillies came back, and Myers didn't fare in the decision. Scored 7 runs in the 9th inning. One of the most exciting innings the Phillies have had this year. It was Shane Victorino's grand slam that gave the Phillies the lead.
Unbelievable.
It was Josh Johnson who was on the mound that night for the Marlins, and the Phillies couldn't touch him. But then the bullpen came on, and the Phillies offense came to life.
They've been getting timely hitting, to say the least.
Runner goes, pitch is fouled.
And being able to hit in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. That's how you really judge a lot of players. Look and see what they're doing in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and vice versa with the pitching. Those guys aren't doing the job the majority of the time. You're not going to be successful as a team.
See what Charlie does here with Chris Coast. Not that either you or I could figure out what Charlie's telling him to do. But Dukes went on the last pitch. See if Myers keeps him close. Dukes doesn't go. Pitches inside. It tailed inside and evens up the count 2-2.
Myers hitting that fastball up in the zone. This is a good running count, 2-2. Also another good count for a breaking ball from Myers.
A little quick pitch, and it's a looper back a second into center field, a base hit. Second straight hit for the Nationals, and they've got runners on first and second with 1 out. And that's the first hit on the road this year for Willingham. He had been 0 for his first 20 on the road. So now a little meeting between Chris Coast and Brett Myers.
He did really quick pitch, and that ball breaking down. He's going down to hit the ball. Balls aren't hit hard, just in the right place.
A quick conversation with Coast, and then another one with Chase Utley. And now, with 1 out, the Phillies will play the infield at double play depth. Thought maybe Rich Doobie would come out and have a quick conversation with Myers himself. He's going to let this inning evolve, and Phillies trailing it now by 1. And Jesus Flores, who's 0 for 2, is the batter. First pitch, a breaking ball down and away. It's 1-0. Neither runner being held on as the Phillies bullpen been quiet tonight. And they may start to stir a little bit if this inning gets deeper. And that evens the count, 1-1.
Brett trying to induce that double play ball. See what Flores has done with runners in scoring position. It's a good average, 329 for his career.
I was just wondering if he was going to try to stay outside to try to get that double play, and that time he came inside with the fastball, and it looked like Flores was kind of leaning outside.
Well, the reason he was leaning, Elijah Dukes is pointing outside. You can see him coming inside on that pitch. That's where he wanted it, and the ball was outside. Yeah, not every time pitchers can hit that spot.
Lays off a breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You don't have to hit the spot every time, but you're around that particular spot where you're trying to hit. If he asks for the ball away and you throw it inside and the guy hits the ball out of the ballpark, you can't blame anyone but yourself.
That one nearly hit Flores, and it's 3-2. So the count is full. Dukes is on second base. Willingham is on first. And Anderson Hernandez is the on-deck batter. What do you think here, Sarge? Are they off and running?
I would think that yes, that they would be running.
They don't go. 3-2. Broken bat looper to left. Ibanez on the run. He's there. Makes the catch. And they're 2 away. Oh, good pitch by Myers. He shattered the bat, and it means Dukes has to hold up at second base. And Willingham holds up at first. And Flores will take half of that bat back to the dugout. Myers now can see himself through this inning. Maybe allow just 1 run.
Made a good pitch as it comes in on Flores, and he gets jammed on it. Just takes the bat right out of his hand. Flores upset, knowing that's not going to do the job.
Anderson Hernandez doubled and scored his first time up. Struck out his last time up. And he swings at a breaking ball and misses, and the count is 0-1.
I think a lot of times with managers that things don't start going well, you start to play a little bit more conservative. I think that's the time to really push the button to make things happen for you.
One breaking ball after another now to Hernandez, and the count even 1-1.
Yeah, a lot of times with movement, you can get balls that might fall in. In that situation, though, I don't think the guys are going to be covering. They would have stayed right where they were.
Good numbers for Hernandez. Includes 1 for 2 tonight. Another breaking pitch, and it's 2-1. Now, can he be extra careful with Hernandez here with 2 outs and the pitcher on deck?
Well, you know, you don't want to start walking a lot of batters. He's done that. You can see the pitch count up to 100 pitches. You know, you just don't want to lay one in there, but he should be able to get out that 8th hitter. Good pitch.
And then have the pitcher spot to deal with in the 7th inning.
Yeah. You know, but you will say, okay, I got to make sure he hits my pitch. There's a base open, even though the runner's at first and second. You just don't want to lay it in there for him.
They try to get him to go fishing after a breaking ball there, and it's full 3-2. So now with 2 outs, the runners will be off. Dukes on second, Willingham on first. 1 run is scored in the inning on a single by Elijah Dukes. Hernandez has 4 hits against Myers, as you saw. He has 4 hits in this series against the Phillies. A little bit of a dance before he gets himself ready. The runners go. 3-2, line towards second, past the dive of Utley and into right center field. 1 run is going to score. Stopping at third is Willingham, and Anderson Hernandez has given the Nationals a 3-1 lead. And that pitch just hung up there for him to pull right past Chase Utley.
Utley trying to dive and catch that ball. See Charlie kind of contemplating there. See exactly where the pitch is, and you're right, it did hang up almost right down the middle. He got good wood on it. Past Chase as he dives for that ball. Ball actually kind of by him. Yeah, that's what we're saying, though. It was, you know, base open. He threw a breaking ball, but not a really good breaking ball. As Tashlin starts to warm up in the bullpen.
Myers will pitch to the pitcher, Scott Olson, who's 0 for 1 with a walk, and Olson takes a curve in for a strike. It's 0-1. So the Phillies trail at 3-1. If they're going to win tonight, they're going to have to come from behind yet again. They've done it in all but 2 of their victories so far. Another curve and another swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Well, the one thing, though, the Phillies have to realize every team they face is going to be up just because they won that World Series last year. So it's important that you have to get up for every one of those teams to be on the same level and playing with them. And they've been doing that as of late.
0-2, swung on and fouled back. And the count holds 2 strikes.
They have been used to coming back. So hitting wise, 106 pitches as they start to mount.
Well, Brett threw 119 in his last outing against the Marlins. This might be his last inning here.
I think you're right, Tom. They're not going to keep having those innings mount up. Well, you start to throw too many innings. What it does is it affects you for your next start. But besides that, throughout the season, if you throw too many.
Well, the off day tomorrow will help. Pitchers get another extra day. A 1-2 pitch. Down and away. Ball 2.
A lot of breaking balls Brett is throwing.
He doesn't want to face Guzman. He wants to get the pitcher here and keep this at a 2-run deficit. Fastball outside. The runner goes. Hernandez will steal second base standing. He wasn't being held on, so he figured, what the heck. That one's hit in the air, straight away center field. Boy, Victorino had him played perfectly. Now he comes in, and the inning is over. But 2 runs for the Nationals in the inning on 4 base hits. They strand 2. It'll be Utley, Howard, and Worth in the bottom of the 6th. Brought to you by your Quality Plus 4 dealers. By Budweiser, reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW. Last of the 6th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Bruce Springsteen is playing across the street at the Spectrum tonight, his second show. Scott Olson will face 3, 4, and 5 for the Phillies. Now, Sarge, I know you're a Bruce Springsteen connoisseur. You saw him in Denver when we were there this year, right?
Born in the USA.
I asked Sarge before he went to the concert in Denver. I said, you don't even know who Bruce Springsteen is. Name one song. And he said, Born in the USA. I said, all right, name 2. He said, Born in the USA. But he put on a good show in Denver.
I couldn't get anybody to go with me there.
You could have gotten somebody
I'm used to doing things by myself, and the guys wanted to stay in that night for preparation, I guess.
All right, but tell the folks the show was good.
The show was great, not good. He puts on a great show.
Sarge sat in the 5th row, or stood in the 5th row, while our producer Jeff Halleckman watched from the last row in the upper deck, and Sarge could care less.
It's all in who you know. Okay?
Well, that's the thing we were saying. Jeff knew you, and you weren't there to help him out.
And I remember at that late date, though, we could not buy tickets, as you know.
Chase Utley's 0 for 2, and Utley pulls on the ground to first. Nick Johnson scoops it up, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 6th. Olson working with a 2-run lead. Now will face Ryan Howard. Thought that the pitch count would kind of bite Scott Olson at some point here in the 6th or even the 7th inning, but he's only at 80 pitches right now. The middle of this game seemed to be a problem, but that bullpen, all they have to do is really stretch, although now it looks like they're going to get somebody up and loosing. Garrett Mock is going to start to throw, and I'm kind of surprised by that.
Well, he's cruising along, but he does have a reputation. He could blow up in any second.
Ryan Howard's 1 for 2, and Howard swats the first pitch foul. Olsen slipped as he delivered that pitch.
True left-hander. Goes through a lot of different antics, but he does have some ability. You know, and he's been around the plate a little bit more. You can see the different pitches in the innings. That number 5 was actually big because it was only 5 pitches.
Ryan with 5 hits against left-handers this year, still looking for his first home run. Hits that one right back through the middle and over the second base bag. That ball was smoked. And that's his second hit of the night.
Not getting a lot of lift so far, but he's been hitting the ball hard. He looks much better at the plate this year. Not swinging at nearly as many bad pitches. Now watch this pitch, short and compact. Look out. And Olsen did as that ball gets up the middle. Not a lot of time, though, to get out of the way. And when those balls are hit, you know, you don't have time to dodge it. It's either going to hit you or not.
Well, that'll bring Jason Worth to the plate with a runner on first base. Worth has a base hit tonight, and he lines that one down the right field line. Dunn on the run over toward the wall, and he runs out of room, and it's a foul ball. And Howard will go back to first. We've seen in baseball this year a couple different times.
See Dunn going right close to the fence as he squares up. Doesn't want to go too hard in that fence. He's a big fella. Once he gets started, pretty difficult to slow down.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. I mentioned a second ago that this year in baseball we've seen a couple of times where the pitchers got hit with the ball back to the box. Cole Hamels last week against the Brewers. Joe Hernandez, the pitcher from the San Francisco Giants, who's still on the DL after getting hit with a line drive off the bat of Mike Cameron.
Just don't have time to even blink.
That one's outside, so it's 2-1 to Jason Worth.
Yeah, you're amazed at Greg Maddux. One of the reasons he doesn't get hit. Take a look at this Howard swing and how close this is to him. He's already saying ouch. Yeah, but when you see Greg Maddux pitch, he always seems to be in the right position when the ball's coming up the middle. You know, if he throws a ball in a certain spot, usually the ball that's going to be on the outside part of the plate and down will be headed back up the middle. As a pitcher, if you throw it there, you might want to get ready because a lot of times that ball comes back through. You know, not saying you can catch it, but you may could protect yourself, especially in that head area.
3-2 the count. The ball in the dirt as Flores blocks it. Jesus Flores got hit with a foul ball during this at bat from Worth. Just blocked that one. Raul Ibanez waits on deck. Phillies trying to mount a rally. They're down 2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'd be nice to get the offense moving before the 7th inning.
Well, the good thing about this club is some usually make a run sometime during the game.
Now this is going to be a double play ball. Guzman bobbles it though to second for 1 over to first, and it's not in time to get Jason Worth because of the bobble. Jason doesn't bounce into many double plays, but that one was seemingly routine. Guzman cannot hold on, so 2 outs, and it'll leave things for Raul Ibanez.
Worth has above average speed. That ball took a little hop on Guzman. Once it does that, you can forget about getting Worth. You can see it there. He stays in front of it. Not able to turn it, though. Again, Worth has above average speed.
Well, it keeps the inning alive, and the Phillies now with 2 outs and a runner on first will turn things over to arguably their hottest hitter as Jack Tashner continues to get himself ready to come in the top of the 7th inning. Raul's 0 for 1 tonight. And 5 for 9 in this series. Takes a fastball right on the inside corner, a spot that he would love to have back, and the count is 0-1.
Second time he's taken a fastball. First pitch. And that usually ends up being your best pitch of the sequence, so we'll see what happens.
You saw Raul's splits on the road and at home. I knew he was hitting well here at Citizens Bank Park, but when I looked at those numbers today, 405 with 5 home runs.
Good way to get the fans on your side.
No question. Good play by Flores again. So 2-1 the count to Ibanez with a runner on first. Maniacta looking over his lineup card with Jim Riggleman, his bench coach. He's got Mock loosening up in the pen. He's got his starter at 92 pitches. This will be 93 here. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, chopped toward the middle. That one is going to get into center field, a base hit. Worth will stop at second, and Ibanez continues to swing the bat well. And the Phillies have 2 runners on with 2 away.
That probably will be it for Olson. We got Phillies coming up, as you see. Ibanez hitting the ball right up the middle. So here it is again. He tries to backhand the ball.
He had no shot at that ball.
Any kind of way that he possibly can, as Maniacta gives him the slow walk out to the mound.
I would say this body language dictates he's not too happy he's going to be lifted from this game. So he leaves after 5 2/3. 2 runners are his responsibility. And the Phillies now will deal with a right-hander in Garrett Mock. He'll be the new pitcher for the Washington Nationals. He'll face Pedro Feliz with 2 runners on when we return. And for the big man, July 30th to August 3rd, that's when the Phillies will be out in San Francisco at AT Park, and you can join the Phillies on a fan road trip. Special Phillies guests include Greg the Bull Lazinski and Scott Palmer. Package includes hotel accommodations, transportation including airfare, game tickets, pregame tour, and meal. City by the Bay road trip fleece jacket as well. For information, you can call 877-833-7326 or log on to Phillies.com. So Sarge will be at a couple of those functions as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have concerts there. One of my favorite cities, obviously. Great restaurants in San Francisco.
Garrett Mock is entering his 5th game. He was in Monday's ball game for the Nationals. He allowed 3 runs in that game. He'll take over for Scott Olson.
Well, maybe this is the guy we need to see.
I know that Olson has been erratic at times during his career, but boy, I thought he was pitching well in this game, and it's interesting to see this kind of move for Maniacta to go to the right-hander here.
He didn't want him facing Feliz. Feliz has been swinging the bat pretty good, so elect to have the right-hander pitch against him.
That one's way inside, and it's 1-0. Phillies tonight 0 for 1. He walked his last time up. Phillies trail it by 2. The tying run is on first base. Again, they're the best team in the major leagues in runs scored after the 7th. Trying to get it started here in the 6th. 1-0 hit in the air to left center field. Not deep. Dukes on the run. Willingham's there as well. And it's Dukes who makes the call. And the inning is over. So the Nationals strand 2. Phillies get a couple base hits. And the actor makes the right move as we go to the 7th. Off of the fountains at Center City. We are back inside Citizens Bank Park. And Wheels, I'm going to let you take this. It's the Verizon Wireless game summary, and then I'm going to ask you about the signals that you were throwing at the camera just a few moments ago.
I don't know what. Yeah, there's a Verizon Wireless game summary. Olsen really good here tonight. They just got him out of the game. But Dukes Hernandez with a couple RBI hits. Shane Victorino gave the Phillies a lead. And now they trail, and they'll go with a double switch here.
Christian Guzman will lead it off. Taschner's in the game. So is Greg Dobbs. So Dobbs will bat 9th in the Phillies lineup. And Taschner will bat in the number 7 spot. See the numbers on Taschner, his 7th game. 5.40 ERA. And Guzman lines a pitch foul down the left field line. That was nearly a fine play by the Phillies ball girl. And it's 0-2. All right, now about the signals that you were throwing out. Were you signaling something to the control room or something?
No, we were just. I never. You can't do anything up here. You forget there's always a camera and they're always running tape up here.
So they didn't tell you to do that?
No.
Oh, okay. Check swing by Guzman. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire, Doug Eddings. Now there's a strikeout for Taschner to begin the 7th inning. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. One away here at the top of the 7th. Nick Johnson, the batter. Johnson pulls the first pitch slowly toward first. Taschner got there, but Ryan Howard wants a race to the bag, and he wins the race.
That's one of those ones where, he should have flipped it over there, obviously. Ryan, sometimes you take it yourself. That was just an easy play. Taschner was there. For some reason, he didn't flip it to him.
You think he was watching the Red Sox-Indians game last night when Kevin Youkilis tried to flip one to Lopez, and Lopez dropped it, and the Indians won the game?
Well, look how far away he is, too. You know, Nick does not run that very well, Johnson, but still, you know, that's even tough to run through the bag. That's where Ryan Howard could have hurt his foot, hurt his ankle. But thankfully, he's okay. Next time, he'll just flip it.
2 outs on 4 pitches, all 4 in the strike zone. Here's Ryan Zimmerman. And it's 1-0. Zimmerman doubled his last time up to extend his hitting streak to 18 games. That's the longest in Major League Baseball this year. On the hands, a pop-up first base side. Howard over toward the crowd. Does he have room? He does. Basket catch. And the inning is over. He sidestepped that rail. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jack Tashner. Some signs of life for the Phillies offense as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The 4 Phillies pitchers that have had 40 or more saves in a season. Brad Lidge, Jose Mesa, Mitch Williams, who was here tonight, and Steve Bedrosian. Bedrock. Well, he was a good one. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
Won the Cy Young Award that year.
He was good, boy. Here's Chris Coase to lead things off against Garrett Mock. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Coase is close to some ribbies tonight. Hooked that potential grand slam by the pole, and then Zimmerman made an unbelievable play to throw him out at first after that.
Curveball that comes in for a strike, and it's 1-2. Phillies bullpen, Brad Lidge to your right, Ryan Madson to your left. Madson is the closer tonight. Brad Lidge is a spectator tonight.
Well, they want 2 out of Tashner. That's why they made that double switch.
I didn't talk to Brad today, but from some of the reports, he said that the inflammation was receding somewhat in his knee.
Friday's probably a big day.
Yeah.
You know, after the off day tomorrow, if he can go on Friday, then okay. If not, you know, then they have some wiggle room with a back date for a DL and that stuff. And obviously, everybody hopes that he can go by Friday.
Well, and there's some guys that are throwing well in AAA at Lehigh Valley. Mike Koplov is, so is Gary Majeski. But you don't want to make that move unless you absolutely have to.
Backdating on the DL goes to his last appearance. So that's why, you know, when a guy's struggling or having a little trouble, you don't want to put him in a game and then have to DL him, because then you have to go from that point as opposed to when he pitched last or played last, in this case pitched.
Ball 4. Coase draws a walk to start the 7th inning for the Phillies. Phillies have scored 56 runs from the 7th inning on. And that leads Major League Baseball. It's 1 more than the Yankees. And Matty Acta has seen this act before from this Phillies offense.
Yeah, and he's seen it all year. You know, he's trying to find some kind of a bullpen rotation right now that he can count on.
Well, they traded for Logan Kensing, who was designated for assignment by the Marlins this past weekend, and he is active and is available in the bullpen for them. They outrighted Jason Bergman at AAA. Dobbs takes a fastball outside. It's 1-0.
Playing Dobbs straight away in center field with Dukes, and up the middle cheating for a double play. There's Hinckley, the one left-hander they have.
Check swing and a fastball. They'll appeal. No swing, says Dana DeMuth, the crew chief.
Now Zimmerman, you know, he's a leader of their club. He just comes in trying to settle the young right-hander down here to throw some strikes, 2-run lead. The one defense you don't have in this game is walks.
This Nationals bullpen issues a lot of them. They are last in the league in ERA, a 5.51 ERA. That one's on the outside corner for strike one. 92 miles an hour from Mock.
Good curveball from this guy. That's probably his best pitch.
Again on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Last one was at 92. That one was at 91. Now Dobbs has it even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on first here at the bottom of the 7th inning. Breaking ball, and he pulls it foul. I think he was thinking fastball there, and he just had to adjust to the curve. Well, here at Citizens Bank Park on a cool night, Phillies are trying to sweep out the Nationals. It would be their 2nd straight series sweep. They've won 5 in a row, and they are a game out of first place in the National League East with an off day tomorrow. They trail it by 2. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. And Dobbs is down on strikes for the first out. Mock has picked up his first strikeout, and now he'll deal with the top of the order.
To a couple breaking balls and missed. 2 fastballs got him over, and then that back foot breaking ball that he swings over. That's his best pitch. We've seen Garrett Mock a little bit last year and this year. He has a real good snapdragon curveball.
He made a couple starts last year for the Nationals. Did pretty well in those starts. Jimmy Rollins had a base hit his last time up. Hinckley loosened up. And Kip Wells is also loosening up. I guess that would mean that Julian Tavares is the closer tonight, because it's either Wells or Tavares. Curveball up high. It's 2-0.
Well, they only have the one move, of course, with a left-hander out of the pen with just one guy out there. So they're getting Hinckley ready for the left-handed hitters.
I was wondering if we would do it for Victorino to spin him over to the right side. There's Julian Tavares.
Possibly, depending what Rollins does here.
Pop-up foul. That'll find the seats over the third base dugout. It's 2-1. This winning streak for the Phillies began on Friday night against the Marlins. They scored 7 runs in the 9th inning. Looper to left center field. Duke's on the run. Here comes Willingham. They converge, and it's Willingham who makes the grab. And they're 2 away. Back to first goes Coast. Now with 2 outs, Shane Victorino will bat, and a frustrated Jimmy Rollins goes back to the dugout.
Yeah, he got ahead in the count. Did not have 2 good swings at fastballs. 2-0, he fouled left side. 2-1, he hit a weak fly ball here that Willingham cuts in front of Elijah Dukes and makes a play. And I think more than anything, you know, he got those kind of fastballs in it. He didn't do anything with them. See that? You know, he can hit a fastball.
Victorino hit a fastball his first time up and hit it into the seats in left field.
Pretty good move by Davey Lobstown.
Now, Davey's not one to try to field one of those ground balls.
Well, Davey can still run. Boy, could he run when he played. Oof. There he is.
He could also field when he played too.
That man was fast.
Way outside, so it's 1-1 of Victorino. Shane 1 for 3 tonight. He extended his hitting streak. His first time up with a home run. That's the only run for the Phillies. And he loops that one in the air to straightaway center field. Elijah Dukes has it played perfectly, and the Phillies are retired here in the 7th inning. They strand one as they waste the leadoff walk to Coast. It'll be done. Dukes and Willingham in the 8th. You buy Jeep. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be. Buy AT&T, your world delivered. And buy Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. A lot of activity here in Philadelphia. Not only the ball game here, the Phillies trail at 3-1 at the top of the 8th inning, but across the street, the Bruce Springsteen concert is going on. Bruce has had himself not only a good career around the country, but obviously a lot of shows here in Philadelphia. I saw him at the Old Vet for the first time, Born in the USA tour. Right on the field. First time I was on the AstroTurf at Veterans Stadium, I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And that was a good day.
Yeah, he puts on some show.
Adam Dunn leads things off, and he takes one on the inside corner. It's 0-1.
Did a great job at the Super Bowl this year.
He did a great job.
Considering, you know, what do you have, 12 minutes or whatever?
He was good.
20, I don't even know how much. It wasn't very long.
Adam Dunn is 0 for 3 tonight. Tashner delivers off the outside corner. It's 1-1. Well, I've had a chance to see Bruce not only at the Vet. I've seen him at the Wachovia Center, and I've seen him at Lincoln Financial Field.
He does play the big venues.
At the knees, it's 1-2.
Saw him one time. It was at the Spectrum, and you know the Bruce Springsteen fans. You know, I got to be careful. I do not believe he was with the E Street Band at that time. I think they had taken a little break from each other, whatever it was. And but it was still a terrific show. It was around Christmas time.
Well, he has toured without them before.
And I think that was at one of those times. But you want to be very careful when you talk about something like that, because the rabid fans know every concert he's ever played and what songs he played and all that stuff. But I think that's what it was.
1-2 the count to Dunn. And he gets the next pitch foul into the Hall of Fame club. And it holds 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, this place will be buzzing tomorrow as well, because the 76ers will be facing off against the Orlando Magic. And Dwight Howard has been suspended for the ball game tomorrow for an elbow to Sam Dalembert. Pitch a little high. It's 2-2. Dwight Howard received a technical in the game last night, was not ejected, but the league reviewed the tape and decided to suspend him for the game tomorrow.
Oh, that's a big loss.
Sure is. Dunn stays alive, and the count remains even 2-2. Still alive. Another foul ball.
And Tashner is a big spot in this game. As you mentioned, Tom, Phillies have come from behind to win a lot of games this year. And you know, you just want to try and keep it right where it is. That's why they made the double switch, to try and get a couple innings out of him. He wants to make sure he knows what the count is. It's still 2-2.
Well, Charlie Manuel has watched this bullpen's ERA get better over the last 10 days or so. They're 10th in the league with a 4.61 ERA. Thought maybe Dunn would go fishing there, and it's full 3-2.
He's trying to get through this game without having to use too many guys, then have the day off tomorrow, and then have the pitchers a lot fresher by Friday.
Well, it helped tonight that Brett went 6 innings. He did scatter 8 hits and 3 runs. Elijah Dukes waits on deck. Roller toward the middle of that shift, and it's knocked down by Rollins, but right into right field. It's a base hit for Dunn. That's Dunn's first hit of the night, and for the Nationals, it's their 9th base hit. And the leadoff batter is on here in the top of the 8th inning. That was a 10-pitch at bat for Adam Dunn, who is going to leave this game as Willie Harris is coming on to pinch run.
And then they can leave Harris in the game to play left field, or play right field where Dunn is tonight, if that's the way they want to go. Here's that overshift. You see this so much with Utley and Howard, but these guys like Dunn and Utley, Howard, they can hit it so hard that they can even beat the shift. And in this case, Jimmy Rollins couldn't get to it. He just deflected it.
Harris takes over at first. Elijah Dukes swings at the first pitch and fouls it over the first base dugout. It's 0-1. Dunn was lifted from the ball game by Manny Acta 2 nights ago, and that's when the Phillies came back and won it. And Justin Maxwell, who was his replacement in left field, made the final out for the Nationals. Harris, though, is a better offensive player than Justin Maxwell is. As Tashner had to stop himself before he delivered to the plate. Time was called late. Dukes hits one in the air to right field. Not deep. Worth has it. And there's one away. Harris walks back to first. And when the Dodgers come to town, Tuesday, May 12th at 7:05 will be a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night here at the ballpark. It's a 3-game series. Wednesday the 13th is a 7:05 start. And then Thursday the 14th is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special and Modell Sporting Goods Senior Stroll the Bases. A 1:05 start. For tickets to that series, the only time the Dodgers come to town. You can log on to Phillies.com. I wonder if there'll ever be a day where the West will come into town more than one time.
Be tough with the interleague play, I think.
Josh Willingham singled his last time up, so he's 1 for 3. Charlie Manuel trying to get a second inning out of Jack Tashner.
Yeah, they're scrambling out there a little bit. There's Charlie. He controls the running game right now, and you see that's what Coast does, is look in, and those are for throw over, step off, those kind of things.
Oh, 0-2 the count to Willingham as Tashner taps the inside corner with that pitch.
Yeah, it's set up now to use Hinckley in the 8th inning with the left-handed hitters coming up, and then they want to close with Tavares. Phillies want to keep the game at 2 right now.
Little toss over to first, and Harris back easily. Runner goes. 0-2 pitch inside. No throw by Coast. He lost the handle of the ball. And Harris is safe at second base. That'll be a stolen base for Willie Harris. And the count 1-2 to Josh Willingham.
Well, they guessed there to run. They figured he might throw a breaking ball with 2 strikes. And a breaking ball, tough pitch to handle for the catcher. And they guessed right. Here it is, a breaking ball in the dirt. And he's probably going to steal that bag anyway because he got a great jump. He never looks in. Straight steal all the way.
So Harris on second base. He's in scoring position. First stolen base this year. He had 13 last season. And a 1-2 pulled foul into the Nationals dugout. Willingham stays alive. Nationals got Harris back yesterday. Christian Guzman back today. They feel like that will make them a better team to have those 2 weapons. Good play by Coast. He kept that one right around the plate. And the count is evened up 2-2. Utley cheating over towards second base, keeping Harris close. Check this swing and a pitch low. They want an appeal. No swing, says the first base umpire Doug Eddings. And Willingham runs the count full 3-2. You forget about Josh Willingham when you talk about the number of pitches taken. The Nationals among the league leaders. Willingham, when he was with the Marlins, averaged nearly 5 pitches per at bat that he would see. Stays alive by fouling that one back.
He's a good fastball hitter. Nickname played down there was Hammer. He could hammer him into those seats at Dolphin Stadium.
Catcher Jesus Flores waits on deck. Harris leads off second base. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball. And they're 2 away. That one exploded at the end for Tashner. And now with a runner in scoring position, he'll face the number 7 batter. That is a big out to get a good hitter.
Threw him a high fastball. Backed up fastballs and got him to chase a little bit. A little bit high. They'll put this guy on and take their chances with Hernandez batting right-handed. Or maybe they'll pinch hit.
Anderson Hernandez has a couple hits tonight. Jesus Flores is 0 for 3. The Nationals have Ronnie Belliard available if they want to pinch hit him for Anderson Hernandez. Then he could stay in the game and play second base.
Right. They also have Austin Kearns if they wanted that kind of. But I don't know about Austin Kearns, a pinch hitter necessarily. They may just go with Hernandez. Hope he can quail one somewhere, get a base hit, get a 2-out run for them.
Well, he's walking toward the plate. Kearns is coming out of the dugout, but he's there to pinch hit for the pitcher.
Yeah.
So they are going to go with Anderson Hernandez with runners on first and second and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
Nobody in the Phillies bullpen. They're in one of those situations right now where they double switch for Tashner to pitch 2 innings and they're going to try and get through it.
Runners not being held on, and Hernandez laces one foul down the left field line. Well, there are nights when a manager has to do this where he really doesn't have any other options.
Yeah, and they know before the game where they can go and can't go in the bullpen, and they hope they don't get into certain situations.
See Hernandez's career, 306 against lefties. And that one just missed off the outside corner. It's 1-1.
Here it is. And that pitch is outside. This guy's done a really good job behind the plate today. Hardly even noticed him. Tishner, right?
Yep.
Todd Tishner.
1-2 the count to Hernandez.
I always think that's one of the best things you can say about a home plate umpire is you barely even mention his name through the course of a game or talk about pitches that much. And You know, I love to do games where you don't even mention the umpire.
Well, he's one of 2 guys that have been added to the vacation roster this year, or for in this case, the injury roster.
Right, because we mentioned Danley, Kerwin Danley was seriously injured with that bat hit his head last week.
The runners lead off the 1-2. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 hits against Jack Tashner for Anderson Hernandez. He fights that one off down the right field line, slicing, fair ball. Worth gets to it in foul territory. Harris is going to score. Holding up at third is Flores, and there's the quail you talked about, Wheels. And the Nationals lead it 4-1.
Well, I think that's why he was the right guy to leave in at that point, because he showed he can make some contact and he might just fight one off and dunk it in. That's what he did. Didn't want to see it happen, but he's that type of hitter.
Well, it's a 3-hit night now for Anderson Hernandez. He's got 2 RBIs. The Nationals have an insurance run here at the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, here it is. It's not a strike, and he just fights it off and keeps it fair. See Tashner looking. Now he sees it's. Now he better go back up a bag somewhere.
Well, Worth got to it quickly, so only 1 run scored. It was Harris who waltzed home easily from second. So now second and third for Austin Kearns, who will be the pinch hitter for the Nationals. Kearns lays off the pitch outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Kearns for the season hitting .240. 11 RBIs, 3 home runs.
Jay Happ starting to throw in the bullpen.
That's a strike at the knees. It's 1-1. Figured Durbin's not available tonight because he pitched 3 2/3 last night.
Yeah, they didn't want to use Happ either because he's been used a lot lately, and that's, you know, he's not really used to that.
2-1.
But you know, they got to get somebody up. Condrey and Madsen are out there for setup, save, get a right-handed hitter out. They're in a tough spot tonight. They're kind of painted into a corner, and they can't do a whole lot.
3-1 to Kearns. I wondered too about Happ, if they wanted to wait. I know that he's got a few days before Monday's start as Guzman is on deck. You know, if he would be the guy, if Cole couldn't pitch on Monday, if they would have to use him, and if they'd have to stretch him out over the next couple days. Flores on third, also a runner on second. Kearns takes one inside for ball 4, and the bases are now loaded. Oh boy, this inning's getting away. The run is scored and the bases are loaded for the top of the order, and Rich Dubie's coming out to the mound.
Yeah, only 1 so far, but you're right, Tom. I mean, it has a heck of a chance to get away right now, especially with a guy like Guzman up there.
Brett Myers started. He went the first 6. He allowed 3 runs on 8 base hits. He struck out 3, walked 3. It's the 3rd time this year, the 3rd straight time that Brett has gone at least 6 innings in a game and has allowed just 3 earned runs. We have 2 no decisions in the last 2 games. He is hoping for a no decision here because that means the Phillies would come back and tie this game up.
Yeah, they just haven't scored tonight. And give also a lot of credit. He was good tonight. And then Mock came in and did his job. Now he'll probably go to Hinckley.
Guzman has a hit tonight in 4 at bats. Bases loaded. Takes one off the outside corner. That one's into the air to right field. Not deep. Over toward the line. Worth cruises under it. Makes the catch. And the inning is over. But the Nationals do get 1 insurance run. Chase Utley will lead things off as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. For the Washington Nationals as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, Willie Harris, who pitch ran for Adam Dunn, stays in the game to play center field. And the new pitcher, it's not Mike Hinckley, the left-hander. It'll be the right-hander, Kip Wells, appearing in his 5th game since being brought up from AAA. 2.08 ERA. We speculated it would be Hinckley because you've got Chase Utley and Ryan Howard due up here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Worth and Ibanez in a 3-run game. I don't know. You know, they obviously feel that Wells is better suited for this situation, but their only situation left-hander, they're not using him in this spot.
Well, it was either Wells or Tavares who were going to be the closers for the last 2 games of this series for the Nationals. Matty Acta didn't need the closer last night because the Phillies basically led from wire to wire. He leads here 4-1. And he'll lean on Wells here. Tavares in the 9th inning if it's still a save situation. And Chase Utley will go to work to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Utley has 15 at-bats lifetime against Kip Wells. He's 4 for 15.
The Phillies don't have a lot of real good numbers against Kip Wells in his career with Pittsburgh and then a little bit with St. Louis and now over here.
Only 2 guys have Wells, as Harry used to say, in their book. That's Cairo and Matt Stairs. Utley taking all the way, takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. Chase has grounded out twice and has struck out. He's had a good series. He's 5 for 10 with 5 RBIs and those 2 home runs last night. Wells still has good velocity. You saw there 95 miles an hour.
He was a mid-90s guy with a good curveball and changeup when he was a starting pitcher with Pittsburgh. He started a career, I believe, with the White Sox.
Utley's down to the count 1-2. Take a look at a lot of the numbers that the offensive guys have for the Phillies, and a lot of them have very good numbers late in games. Now that's because as a team they have good numbers late in games. And Chase, who's riding a 5-game hitting streak, is down on the count 1-2.
He has 54 major league relief appearances. Starting pitcher for a long time.
A 1-2 pitch. Fastball, pop foul.
Nice catch in that first throw. That guy right there in the red jacket.
Pointing down to the guy down below, saying that would have come to you if I didn't grab it. They took it right out of the guy to 2 to his left, right out of his hands.
Play.
Gets away from Flores, nearly hit Utley, and it's 2-2. Reaches out and pokes it foul over the Nationals dugout. I mentioned during the outset of our telecast that Chase and Raul Ibanez have combined coming into this game for 15 hits in 31 at-bats against the Nationals this year. 5 home runs between the 2.
They're really happy to see them both up in this inning. Well, maybe with Ibanez. Chase just battling here to try and get on base, get something started.
Hit him again. How about that conversation you had today with Charlie about Chase Utley and how much he loves watching this guy play?
Well, he couldn't say enough. He just got going on Chase Utley today about what a credit he is to Philly. The thing he said that I thought was the best was He said what a credit he is to the sport and how lucky baseball is to have a guy like this.
Ball 4, he works out a walk. Boy, that was a heck of a battle by Chase.
Yeah, that's a guy who gets it. You know, he knows how important it is to get on base, get something started, and he battles and battles. That was Charlie's point about him. He says the guy's a baseball player. He says he understands every situation.
Well, and it used to be that Kirby Puckett was his favorite player, and it's changed now that Chase has been with him since he took over as the manager of the Phillies. And why not? The guy just works his tail off to get ready for every game and every at bat. He's on first. Phillies trail it by 3. Ryan Howard, the batter, here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ryan's got a couple of hits, and they've got the overshift on. It's shallow on the right side of the infield.
Right, because of a runner on base. They can't put the second baseman in the outfield. Or at least they don't want to. And they almost could if they figure, well, all we want is a countdown for outs now. There's Marquise Grissom. He can move the outfielders around. He's pretty good.
He's trying to get the attention of Josh Willingham in left field, who's not that deep, straight away. That one is a line drive right at Guzman, and Chase is going to crawl back to the first base peg.
When he hit the ground, he stopped. And if they'd have thrown, they'd have had him. You know, Ryan Howard, what are you going to do? I mean, that ball is scalded. Now he hits it right at Guzman. Now Utley, watch him when he starts back. Right there. He hit the ground with his arm and nothing happened.
That was like his dive at third last night. Remember when he slid into third base last night? Maybe it was the night before.
He's not moving real well in that dirt.
He remains on first with 1 away for Jason Worth.
Excuse me, Tom. The Nationals have to think, well, all the things that go wrong with them, somebody hits a bullet and they hit it right at somebody. So maybe they think luck's on their side tonight.
There's Tavares loosened up in the bullpen for the Nationals. Jason with 3 career at bats against Kip Wells. He's 1 for 3 against him. And he's one of the guys that has good numbers late in games.
Well, this is another one of those things where you want to have a good at bat here and get Ibanez up as a tying run.
Lays off a slider. Boy, that was a tough pitch to lay off. They do appeal. Doug Eddings agrees with Jason Worth, and it's 2-1.
But Flores is really set up away in this at bat to Worth. It's almost like, well, they're pitching him away, playing him away. It's almost like they're saying, well, we're going to keep him in the park. We're going to stay away from him. But he has really good power to right and right center if he stays closed. He goes back out there again.
Knocked that one down, but the count is 3-1. It must be the plan because the outfielders are playing the opposite way as Ibanez waits on deck.
That's what Manny Acton and his coaching staff, when you see the defense, thinking, don't let that guy get up as a tying run. Phillies fans are saying, come on, Worth, get on.
Yeah, we like this Ibanez guy.
Come on, Jason.
3-1 pitch, chopped toward third. Zimmerman high, hop, off balance throw to second for 1. Hernandez's throw to first. Offline, Worth is going to head to second base. Nick Johnson boots the ball, and Worth is safe at second. But there are 2 away.
Someone's got to teach that Anderson Hernandez when to stick the ball in his pocket. And that was another case right there. No sense in that play.
That's going to be an error charge to Hernandez, his 3rd of the year, to allow Worth to go to second.
He does 2 things wrong here. He doesn't know the situation, and he doesn't know the runner. You have a good runner in Worth, and you have a 3-run lead.
Well, you've got 2 very different teams as Utley heads back to the dugout. One that's made 3 errors this year and has 11 wins. The other one that's made 21 errors this year and has 4 wins. It's a big difference. So Ibanez stands in with a runner on second, 2 away. Here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies trying to draw closer. Pitcher's been on base twice tonight. Excuse me, Will.
Yeah, the pitcher spot's next. So as you said, Stairs down there. Well, you know, that's another thing. Ibanez gets on base. You get Stairs up there as a tying run. That's why the Phillies score so many runs. They do have a lot of weapons.
Change up high, 2-0. Well, at least for the first month, he has been clutch. .483 average in the 7th inning or later. And he's ahead 3-0. And he leads the team in that batting average 7th inning later. The number 2 guy, Pedro Phillies, at .435. That Stairs hoping for a chance to make a swing and tie this one up.
And Ibanez doing everything he can to get that tying run to the plate.
Taking all the way, takes one at the knees for strike one. It's 3-1. With 28 base hits this year, he is in the top 5 in that category. Top 5 in total bases. Leads in home batting average. And the count is full, 3-2. And this is the spot where he thrives the most and has over the last handful of years with a runner in scoring position.
Well, Kent Wells is making it interesting right now. To his credit, he keeps coming back and throwing strikes. He went 3-run on Worth, got him out. 3-0 now on Ibanez and trying to get him out. He's come back to 3-2.
Down low, ball forward. Ibanez draws the second walk of the inning for the Phillies. And that means the tying run will come to the plate. Jim Riggleman and Matty Acta look on. Matt Stairs walks to the dish. Stairs, the active leader in home runs as a pinch hitter. He has 1 bomb against Wells in his career. And he has had himself a good month of April. The fans, well, they love him.
He wanted Wells to throw him a fastball, but he still has a base to play with here.
A 1 lifetime home run against Kip Wells. And he throws a changeup up.
Yeah. He starts him with the off-speed pitch here. What I'm saying, but that he has a base to play with. His runners on first and second and 2 outs. If he walks him, then he goes after Coase with 2 outs, or Tavares does. But he does not have to throw him a fastball to hit.
There is a fastball, and it's in the dirt.
Yeah, they're doing that. You know, that's exactly what they're doing right now, and whether they'll keep it up 2-0, we'll see. That one hurt Flores a little bit. He needs a little time.
Bobby St. Clair does not call the pitches, but he watched Joel Hanrahan deliver a fastball in a spot that Raul Ibanez liked 2 games ago.
Well, as we said, he doesn't have to throw him a fastball for a strike. Well, you see where that hurt. And Matt Stairs, now that he's ahead in the count, will lock into a zone and a pitch. Sometimes he'll sit off speed, like he did at Houston Street in Denver that day. Even though he got a fastball, he thought he might get changeup, and he was protecting on that.
The runner's not being held on. Stairs the tying run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies with 9 come from behind victories this year. They're looking for 10. They got a fastball. It tailed away and down, and it's 2-1.
It's a sinker, and it was probably out of the strike zone.
So Worth walks back to second. Abanya is already at first. Marlins have won, so the Phillies are a game back in the National League East. Breaking ball, and it's 3-1. That slider by Wells started out over the plate and then just came down toward the shins.
Yeah, the back foot slider. He really hasn't thrown him a strike yet. There's Chris Coast, and once again, he does not have to give in fastball here. By a fastball that's hittable.
Does throw the fastball, and he rolls it to the right side. Hernandez has got it. The inning is over. The Phillies strand 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Wells works out of a jam here in the bottom of the 8th. We head on to the 9th. The Nationals leading it by 3. That's right. Prorated 11-game Sunday or 13 or 14-game partial plans are available now. You can log on to Phillies.com or call 215-463-5000. Some of the options that you have will include tickets to the Mets games, the Marlins games, and also exclusive benefits to the postseason. Again, log on to Phillies.com or call 215-463-5000. Well, the Phillies offense, which coming into this game had scored 33 runs in the last 3 games, just 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And now Jay Happ is going to try to keep this at a 3-run deficit going to the top of the 9th inning. This is his 8th game. He's 1-0 with a 4.38 ERA. And he'll take over for Jack Tashner. Brett Myers started the game. Myers went the first 6. He allowed 3 runs on 8 hits. And Brett also struck out 3. And Tashner went the last 2, and now it's Jay Happ's turn. And it'll be Nick Johnson, Ryan Zimmerman, and Willie Harris, the scheduled hitters. Harris is in the game for Adam Dunn. Johnson 1 for 3. One is in the dirt, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I mentioned the options that the Phillies would have down in the minor leagues if they do have to make a move. If Brad Lidge goes on the disabled list this Friday, Mike Koplov, the Philadelphia product, has been throwing the ball real well and in the strike zone. Gary Majeski has also started out strong for the Iron Pigs, and the Phillies picked up Tyler Walker, who we saw in the big leagues with the San Francisco Giants, and he's a hard thrower, throws in the mid to high 90s, and he's off to a good start as well.
Yeah, they've had some guys do a pretty good job down there in the bullpen. So they do have some options, but they hope they don't have to deal with it right now.
Good curveball on the inside corner. Called strike 3. And Johnson goes down looking.
He knew that was a strike. And Nick was kind of standing there hoping maybe home plate umpire Tishner wasn't going to call it a strike.
Well, speaking of the Phillies minor leagues, how about Freddie Galvis? They compare him to Omar Vizquel defensively, but he hit .417 over the last week for the Threshers. Blue Claws, a 4-1 record in the South Atlantic League. Michael Stutz also had a good week as well for the Arphils. And right now, Scranton Wilkes-Barre, well, that's final, has defeated Lehigh Valley 7-0.
You see that Scranton Wilkes-Barre up there. Sometimes you think, oh, gee, the Phillies minor league
Well,
team won
that's
tonight.
honestly, I looked
years.
at it and I saw that. I said, oh, they got a shutout. But you forget that they're Yankees.
I wonder who that was. Oh no, wait a minute, that's not good.
Yeah, I started running through my head. You know, the starters for tonight. Was it Carrasco? Was it Kendrick? Was it Lair, who's pitched real well? One and one to Zimmerman is up high. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. It was Lair that was pitching tonight for Lehigh Valley. He entered the game with a 3-0 record and a 2.60 ERA. Joe Savory picked up his first AA victory last night when he went 6, allowed 6 hits. I wonder if he had any hits in that game.
He did, his last start, he had 2 hits.
Yeah, 2 doubles.
Yeah.
Guy can hit. 2-2 to Zimmerman. Popped in the air down the right field line. Long run for Worth toward the line. Makes the catch. That's the second out for J-Happ. Our upcoming television schedule includes this weekend series against the Mets. Comcast Sportsnet on Friday night. They wrap up that series with a 1:30 start on Sunday on MyPHL 17. Then it's off to St. Louis for 2. And then to New York for 2 before the Phillies come right back home. And that is the beginning of May. Phillies trying to finish up the month of April with a winning record for the 2nd straight year. Willie Harris stands in and he takes a strike. Phillies were 15-13 last year in April and in that one game in March. Harris came on to pinch run for Adam Dunn and scored the insurance run in the top of the 8th inning for the Nationals. And he's ahead in this count. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's only his 10th official at bat. Line drive past Utley and into right field. A base hit for Willie Harris. That's a 2-out single for Harris. Utley diving all over the place.
Yeah, sometimes you wish he would. I looked like he had no chance to catch that.
I remember talking to him. It was his 2nd year with the Phillies, and I talked about him hustling up the first base line and diving for a ball. And he said he never wants to think back to an occasion where he could have dove for a ball and had it. So if he's close, he'll dive for it because he figures every once in a while he'll get it.
Yeah, and a lot of times those are on line drives. They'll teach infielders, don't be diving for a lot of ground balls that are away from you because you have a tendency to deflect them into doubles. That's one thing that infielders learn at a young age, because some guys will dive for everything. And all they're going to do is get themselves in trouble. I mean, there's times to dive and there's times not to, especially on ground balls. Now, a line drive, you go diving through the air, maybe you snare it.
Rollins trying to keep that hand warm.
Cold here.
0-1 the count to Dukes. The pitch. That's just below the knees. Pretty good pitch, and it's 1-1.
It's Elijah Dukes. Well, he has talent.
Tries to check his swing on a pitch inside. No appeal. And it runs the count to 2-1. Charlie keeping an eye on Willie Harris, who has good speed. He stole a base when he pinch ran for Adam Dunn. A roller toward third. Nice play by Dobbs. Short way to second, and he just gets Harris. And the inning is over. Nationals strand one. One last chance for the Phillies against Julian Tavares. It'll be Coast, Dobbs, and Jimmy Rollins. Our WB Mason delivery of the game, and the Phillies haven't had a whole lot of opportunities, but they had one earlier in this game.
Bases are loaded. Coast just missed a grand slam home run. Then he squirts this ball down the line. Zimmerman makes a tremendous play, a one-hop throw to first, and just out of first base. That would have gotten them at least one, and who knows? That's our WB Mason delivery of the game. And Ryan Zimmerman, he can play third with anybody.
Yeah, in fact, his rookie year, there were a lot of folks that thought that he had a chance even to wrestle the Gold Glove away from Scott Rowland that year. Well, Julian Tavares is the new pitcher for the Nationals. He's going to try to come on and close this one. He has one save opportunity this year, and it's a blown save. This is his 12th game. 0-1 with a 3.12 ERA. And he will face the Phillies here in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's the bottom of the order. Chris Coast, Greg Dobbs, who's in the pitcher's spot after a double change, and then the top of the order. Coast is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. And Chris is 3 for his last 21 as his average dips down under 200.
Julian Tavares used to be a real heavy sinker ball pitcher. Now he throws a lot of sliders. He'll throw some sinkers, but he really relies on his slider now.
Lays one right in for a strike.
That was a sinker, and he still has pretty good movement. Well, he used to throw hard.
He used to throw hard, and it looked like he always had some stuff on his hat. In front of his hat on
He
the
did.
bill.
It looked like he always had pine tar or rosin or something.
That one nearly hit Coast, and it evens the count 1-1. The hat is pretty clean right now.
Yeah, that doesn't look like his hat. This is just a dark hat, and he's got the stuff mixed in there. Phillies had a game in St. Louis one day where they checked his hat, and you know, he got all upset about it. But then later on, the Cardinals checked Burrell's bat.
Right.
It was really ridiculous.
See the number of organizations that Tavares has played for, 11. Same with Matt Stairs.
And he had stuff all over his hats, and then they go and check Burrell's bat.
2-2 the count. There's Logan Kensing, who was just acquired by the Nationals from the Florida Marlins for a minor league player. Kensing was designated for assignment this past weekend by Florida. Coast bounces the 2-2 right at Ryan Zimmerman. And there's one away here in the 9th inning. Julian Tavares is trying to get his first save since 2006.
Well, they desperately need someone to come in and close the game out for. They've only won one game on the road at the end of April.
1 win, 10 losses on the road. And Greg Dobbs will hit. Maniacta, a young manager, and it's not a young team. I mean, Zimmerman is young, but beyond that, a lot of these guys have played some ball these last few years. Dobbs struck out back in the 7th. That was his first at bat. And there's a slider at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1. Shoots that one the opposite way, but it's back into the seats, and he's in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Phillies need to get a couple base runners to bring the tying run to the plate. They had that chance in the 8th inning, but couldn't score. And they stranded 2 in the 6th inning as well, and then the bases loaded in the 4th inning. Dobbs pulls it on the ground to first, gobbled up by Johnson. And now 2 ground balls and 2 ground ball outs. Johnson's been busy tonight. Tavares is 1 out away from earning the save. Well, Ibanez is hoping that he gets another chance here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So does Chase Utley. The only run for the Phillies came back in the 1st inning. And it was a solo shot by Shane Victorino. Jimmy's 1 for 4 tonight. He starts about with a slider that doesn't curve over, so it's 1-0. Phillies are going to finish the month of April, and Jimmy Rollins is going to be right around the 200 mark. With 1 stolen base.
Not a good month for him.
West Coast will be under the 200 mark unless the Phillies rally here and he gets another chance to bat. A wicked movement on that pitch.
Well, Tavares, when he's on, we throw a lot of ground balls with that sinker, and he's gotten 2 ground outs tonight on sinkers.
Left that one up, and it's a liner foul off the tarp, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jimmy's got good numbers against Julian. 25 at bats. He has not struck out. He's got 9 hits. So hitting well over 300. Just trying to get on base here. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch from the Nationals right-hander. Breaking ball lifted in the air down the left field line. It's a foul ball, and the ball girl was a little indecisive on that grab.
Was she trying to catch that?
I think she was, in her mind she said, all right, I'm going to try to catch it. No, maybe I'm not allowed to. And she had a chair in her hand too.
Watch. Did she try to catch this? Yeah. Just didn't quite come up with it.
Well, she knew she had to get out of the way and make sure that there wasn't a play.
Right, tough to do, but carry the chair and catch a ball. That's multitasking right there.
2-2 is a liner off the glove of Guzman into center field. Second hit of the night for Jimmy Rollins. And he's aboard, and the Phillies are still alive here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jimmy hit that one hard. It's the second time he's hit one really to that spot. He took a glance up at the video board as you saw there. Just wanted to see the swing more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, high sinker. Oh, it's almost caught there by Guzman. Going the way Jimmy has and hit a ball hard like that, you have to expect him to catch it.
Well, Victorino has good numbers against Tavares. He's 3 for 7. But double and a triple. Tonight, he's got a home run.
Now his job is to get the tying run up there.
Rollins not being held on. He goes, and he'll get there standing. Victorino takes the pitch for a strike.
That could be defensive indifference. Scored a fielder's choice.
We're talking signs here. I mean,
Yeah.
Julian Tavares usually does all the talking. He's doing all the talking there.
Yeah, well, he does do that, but yeah, with a runner at second, they got to change it. So they have to make sure they're on the, they know what signs he wants to use. These pitchers all have different signs with a runner at second base. So some of the things catching, there's so much involved in catching, how much you have to remember.
0-1 the count to Victorino. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Shane just trying to get on and give Chase Utley a chance against Tavares. There's Chase swinging in the on-deck circle. Another slider and a little roller foul. He just topped that one. And now he's down in the count 1-2. Line drive foul.
How about that Louis Tiant move?
He did that the other night. It's the first time I saw him do it, and that one was even more of a twist.
Oh, that looked like it was going to be a balk. Look at Jimmy laughing. I mean, he goes breaking off saying, look at Tavares, and he kept going. That's the way Luis, El Gran Tiante.
He was good.
He used to do that, but he did it on every pitch.
I think it throws the timing of the hitter off a little bit, too.
Sure.
1-2, swung on it, missed it. Victorino is down on strikes, and Julian Tavares earns his first save since 2006. And the Nationals salvage the final game of this 3-game series. The Phillies' winning streak is over at 5 games. And they will go into tomorrow's off day, a game and a half out in the National League East. And Manny Acta has not had a whole lot to smile about this year for the Washington Nationals, nor has Elijah Dukes. But they can smile after this victory tonight as they win it over the Phillies to take game 3 of this series. Will Scott Olsen get the Phillies off balance tonight? 6 strikeouts over 5 2/3. He is our Chevrolet player of the game. So the final score, it's the Nationals 4 and the Phillies 1. We'll be back after these messages.